Hydrofield cuts through my neighborhood.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fearlessly Authentic. I'm Lucky.
What's up, people?
Him and Steve over there. And we have an awesome guest with us today. One of our members of our community.
Hey.
Yipex! Hey, Fred. How are you?
Okay.
Yeah. I think you'll be cheered up before this is done. You need some therapy today. This is some
Catharsis.
This is so you'll get some love and laughs. What we talking about? Some fucked up shit. Like I don't know how else to do it.
What you consider fucked up in me is totally different.
Sure.
So I'm pretty out there.
So how are you doing? Besides besides the stuff out in the internet world. Otherwise, how are you? How are your kittens doing? How are you otherwise?
I've been better. I got like you, I am also autistic. I don't know if I mentioned that before. And I had my meds adjusted, so I'm not suicidal anymore. So
Well, that's always a good thing to not be in that place. That's a hard place to be in, especially with. I know I've dealt with suicidal ideation since I was little. You know, it's just always something I've dealt with, and I try not to, let it be, too much of a thing. I try to like not like ignore it, but not like focus on it at the same time. Acknowledge it, but
I had to tell a couple people online that self-harm, killing yourself jokes aren't funny anymore after going through those feelings yourself. So
yeah, those aren't funny things at all.
Not even. You know what is funny though? Chris Christie reaching 15,000 donors. It's like, don't worry, Donnie, I'm coming. It's
God.
the one like Italian Cheeto guy against the other.
The Frito versus the Cheeto.
Frito versus I don't know exactly.
Do you think he smells like Fritos?
What the correct snack food vernacular?
Maybe
is.
he's a tasty cake.
I'm willing to bet that Chris Christie is not a tasty cake.
No, like tasty cakes, like like he likes the tasty cakes.
No, like definitely not.
Isn't he in New Jersey? I ate a lot of tasty cakes when I was in New
No,
Jersey.
I understand the connection and the connotation, but I'm pretty sure if you crack into Chris Christie,
He's not okay. Maybe he's a corn chip. Does he smell like corn chips?
he's gonna smell like old gym socks and dirty feet on the inside. I'm quite sure.
Oh, that's lovely, Steve. Thanks. I'm still eating.
And crushed up Cheetos
Ew.
that have been fermenting in the rain.
So
In the New
tonight,
Jersey rain. I'm sorry.
so tonight we're gonna talk about the oh my gosh, what was the title?
How we escape the independent media.
Oh yeah,
Chamber.
the echo chamber. Oh my gosh, and what we did and how we came to terms with that.
How
Like,
we barely made it out with our lives. It sounds exciting. It's really inane and boring when you get down to it, but
well, I mean, like it kind
bears
of
discussing.
it kind of I mean, like, just to give a little bit of a timeline and a history for us, it started in we really started to interact a lot. I think back in like 2019 or so, we started interacting more, not just like watching, what's going on in this sphere.
Yeah.
And we started becoming more involved and, actually chatting and the actual, chatting on the live streams and stuff like that. And then eventually, we started like noticing there was holes to arguments and perspectives that weren't being discussed. And so we started asking more and more questions. And the more and more questions that we asked, it seemed like we weren't actually getting like answers all the time. It's like we would get like something that was enough to be considered, I guess, an answer, but like it didn't satisfy. It didn't satisfy my need for that answer for the truth.
Like if you ask a lot of questions, those are just bad thoughts that you haven't contained yet. They're just like, stifle your thoughts. Don't be so critical of things that you want answers for. Just accept the narrative as it is and don't try to change it, because if you do, we'll all pig pile on you and kick you in the face.
Well, yeah, and then like when your answers are someone else's opinion, like
right.
that's not evidence. Like that doesn't frame evidence for me. That doesn't like, make me feel better because you told me someone else's opinion.
It doesn't provide the perspective that you're after. You're like trying to solve an issue or try to understand something fully, and just every time you ask a thing and they're just like, this, just accept this, even though this that they gave you has a million more questions now that you want to ask. And I just find that that's been the recurring theme is, if you have a question about anything or anyone and you push too hard with your question and don't just accept whatever the established narrative is and think outside of the circle of people, then you're labeled, a dirtbag and this and that and just whatever
any number of things. It's whatever the smear is that fits
whatever the flavor
that
is
narrative
of the day. It's not even if it fits. They're usually just preposterously stupid, like calling you guys transphobes, for instance. It's just,
I mean,
what the fuck are you talking
I've
about?
been called everything. I've been called everything from like, a Nazi to, a racist, homophobic, transphobic, a TERF, bigot. Like, I mean, the list goes on. I've been called a Putin puppet, a Russian bot, like, all these things. And I'm just like, yeah, like none of that's true. Like, it doesn't really matter what you think, but because it's not true. Like, a lie doesn't hold the same value as the truth does. And so I mean, it bothers me, but like I just kind of like end up trying to brush it off as much as I can. But sometimes when they pig pile on you, it can be a lot.
Who do you think smears and dogpiles the most, the liberals or the independent left?
Oh man,
it's a close race.
I guess it kind of depends on what kind of like space you're in. You know what I mean? Like,
but I mean, if you're like comparing the NAFTA troll people, fucking Russia Gator fucking freaks, or
I think there's a lot of liberal, like kind of like the shittier. Not everyone that's liberal is like awful, you know what I mean? But like you know, the really shit-lib people, there's a lot of shit-lib people that kind of like blend into like the what's supposed to be like the left.
It's that go along to get along thing. Like, you don't disagree strongly enough to fucking pipe up about something, and you just go along with it because these are your peep. It's you gotta keep it real with your people and stand in solidarity, even when they're supporting fucking horrible things and other people are pointing them out. That doesn't make you a monster for pointing them out. It just makes you a critical thinker that is calling out and holding accountable certain people, certain movements, certain things. All these same people that claim to hate the politicians
that do the same thing,
scrutiny, do exactly the same thing, or claim that they despise the MSM, and then they do exactly the same thing and just echo the same narratives without any kind of challenge to that thought at all. And anybody outside of it is us. Here we are, everybody. You can hate that fact, but that is factual.
And we won't ask you to ever replace your own opinion like with ours.
Exactly.
Like, we're like, you can hold your opinion, you don't have to agree with us. Like, we can still be in the same space and we can still be friends and have completely different opinions on things, and we can have opinions that we agree with on things. And I think that balance is necessary. I don't go and like talk to my neighbors and then be like, oh well, let me screen you.
It's really
do these certain points, do you hit these certain points, do you believe as I believe, or are you going to talk to them about stuff and see where you do agree?
You a dirty heathen, or do you a believer? The fact is, though, that people do that constantly in all sorts of ways, and I'm just like of the opinion, like, not unlike I heard what's her name, Rosie.
Oh, Rosie O'Donnell?
Not Rosie O'Donnell. I can't think. Roseanne Barr. And she's talking, and she's got like, you can tell that
she just came back with a podcast and she did her first episode.
She understands a lot of things about a lot of things and conflates them, and it's all really, really steeped in this like, the USA is this shining beacon of beautiful.
You can hear the propaganda that's in there, it's just the propaganda in her mindset. It just like most people my age or older, they have that same exact thing. It's like this belief that there was a time where everything was beautiful and harmonious, and we need to get back to that time because that's what America is. And that ideal that they hold in their mind colors all the other information that they get, because like you could tell Roseanne has like ins with all sorts of fucking intellectuals and certain people that know lots of fucking stuff that she wouldn't otherwise know. And it's just like the process of what you do with that information. If you still maintain that your country is the greatest thing ever and voting is the only way forward, you're fucking delusional. And that's where I am with it. But it's like, it's that thing, like we all have a way of thinking about things and a conditioning from birth. It's not by accident that people feel that way. Yeah, we have an indoctrination that happens.
I'm not going to put anybody down for that. I'm going to point it out. I'm going to say, there it is, because I can't unfucking see it now. So that's the issue. That's the problem that we're faced with as people in this sphere, is like, oh, I can see your stupid fucking bullshit propaganda. I'm going to tell you about it. And then people get all mad at you. And
did Roseanne Barr happen to give a date when that wonderful time in history was?
No, it was kind of a non-specific thing. She actually went back in time to read some Lincoln quotes and things. Like, it's really conflated. You know what I mean? That programming is really, really thick.
It's like she's so like aware on so many things, but then you hear like the propaganda that's like stuck and ingrained in there, and you're just like, yeah, you can just recognize it, you hear it, you see it, you're like, yeah.
I'm convinced that's why the system doesn't fall, is because of that. It's been ground into us all to think that it is the only fucking way forward. You cannot do anything, right? but somehow every election cycle you can be a revolutionary if you vote third party. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You can't have a revolution and use the same systems. It doesn't work. That's not a revolution. That's not revolutionary in any way.
But Steve, this is the most important election of our lifetime.
Of course, again, I know, I remember.
I know.
And, like,
wait, but didn't this just happen like 3 years ago?
Ever since, this is how old I am. I remember when Gerald Ford got elected. Okay, I was a little fucking kid, and it was the most important election of their lives.
Did my flint die? Oh.
It's so funny. It never goes away, but nobody ever points at it. Nobody ever says, you know, voting is just the mechanism for all of this shit show to continue and continue at the slowest incremental fucking rate you could possibly imagine. For instance, if, say, you get burned at the stake for being a witch or a witch sympathizer.
I know. I'm glad that they don't do that anymore, because we would all be burned. You guys realize that, right? Like, all of us would have been burned.
Don't worry, because the state is so expedient. It'll only take 350 years for them to apologize. And
they just did that in Connecticut. They just apologized for some of the Salem witch trials that they did and the things that happened.
So, I mean, you know, it's a mighty steed, this democracy we have, and there's no room for anything else. We got to have soldiers. We got to have 900 military bases across the planet. We need to change governments for countries sometimes. You know, we need to do stuff. It's just we need to fucking, you know, help the money powers of the oil and energy industry and medical industry do what they have to do to get the profits that they need. And I mean, it's everybody's working together, right? It's America. No, that's not. My program is a little screwy now, since you know what I mean? You guys got to cut me some slack. Let me go.
Hi, Dork Shaman. Good to see you. I don't know. Do you have a wrench yet?
It's harder. It's hard to accept things as you get older, certainly. But when you're younger and people try to tell you shit, you're not ready for it. So...
Oh, you mean you weren't ready for it, Steve? Well, you weren't ready for it?
I've told this story, and many, many different people have said to me, you know, Steve, that story really, that's something that happened to me as well. I can remember talking to people, older people, uncles and things, and just dismissing them as crazy old fuckers. You know,
how do I get I'm trying to get to my chat here and get to the live chat, and
it's where the comments are now.
It's really hard being the same age as old people now. So
yeah, it is. You should try to stay as young as you can. I mean, I
gave up.
I gave up when I got to be like 42, 43. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to be able to fool these people much longer, because everybody thought I was still 30 or something, you know, when I was 42. So that only lasted for about 4 years, I think. And they're like,
I was told I have the cynicism of a 40-year-old when I was 16.
Yeah, same.
So with us, you know, like everything kind of started in 2019, where we really started to get involved, and then we got into it 2020, you know, and then, you know, what we know it happened the last 3 years, like, right, like, so, you know, being people that were you know, out doing gig things, and we're not doing gig things as much anymore, and doing the more stuff online, we spent more time, you know, like kind of like learning the ins and outs of the indie media sphere, and then also, you know, noticing that there were huge gaps, that things like that weren't being covered, questions that weren't being asked. So that's why I started, you know, the show, is because I was just like, you know what, I feel like there's just some things that I just need to be able to get off of my chest and be able to, like, you know, put out there, and different perspective that I'm not seeing. And like, once we got into it more and like got behind the scenes of it, it changes everything. It changes your perspective completely when you're looking at, you know what I mean, the sphere of media, and on the left from the inside, and you start to see how people are moving, and you start to see how people are acting, And you start to see that, like, asking too many questions will get you blacklisted. Asking too many questions, like, they'll absolutely turn their backs on you. And you're like, whoa, what is happening? But it is what it is. I mean, like, we're not making shit up to, like, try to, like, shit on anybody. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And
I'm brand new to that.
Anytime doing that.
Huh?
And I'm brand new to that feeling.
Yeah. It happened to us just like little. It was just like little by little. Like, we thought we were joining something. We thought we were joining a community. We thought that that everyone kind of like worked together in independent media, and you know what I mean. Like, it was like us against everybody else trying to get the truth out there, and that was the belief that we had when we started, and
shortly thereafter, we were proven completely naive and wrong to assume that, or to think that at all, because that's not at all what happened.
Well, no, because remember we joined KRTD Network, and we stayed with them for like less than a month because we saw the bullshit there. Like, called out the censorship that was happening on the network. We were getting censored. Like, I mean, it was a complete disaster. And so we were like, oh, hell no, we're not staying here. And I'm like, yeah, no, we're not playing this game.
Was that prior to C19?
Huh?
No,
was that prior to C19?
It was after it. During it.
Yeah, it was like during that time period.
Yeah, because it was probably 2020 or so when we first started, and we didn't know all the stuff. So it was like a super learning curve, trying to we were trying to get on board with somebody else who already knew all this stuff and how to do the things.
Yeah, like
we're like, how do we do this?
How to stream, how to like get to different, stream to different platforms, and just like there's just a lot to learning. Like when you first start out, like doing a show,
there's many levels that you have to like be able to get, like being able to, stream to different platforms and how you go about doing that and everything. And so we thought, being involved with a group of people who already do that all the time and have been doing it for a while, that would ease up the learning curve a little bit. And then we just saw that they were completely censoring, and then we called it out, and then they just were like vicious, like we're fucking assholes because they like completely turned around and like just started like aggressively attacking me. I had one of the person that was the executive director at the time of that network. I had her name is Jimmy. I had her making threats that she was going to get a lawyer if I kept speaking out about how they censor people. She threatened me with that, and then she said, "Oh, I spoke with a lawyer. The lawyer said it would be cheaper for me to get on a plane and come out there and kick your ass." Like, and doing it very publicly on Twitter. I have screenshots to back it all up. And, it was absolutely insane. Like, you're going to threaten somebody with violence because I'm speaking the truth and I have proof that you censored people. So basically from that moment on, it's been on, you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to fucking like stop telling the truth because it's fucking embarrassing to you. You were the asshole who fucking did this. Meanwhile, you have people on that same network talking about fucking free Julian Assange and hosting Assange fucking things on there while you're censoring someone else on the same network. Like, get over yourself. You're full of shit. So we told them,
so hypocritical.
We told them they were full of shit. And shortly thereafter, those Assange people left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there was a show that Misty and Glory were doing on that network, and then shortly after they ended up stopped doing it on the network. I'm not sure exactly what happened, because the thing that happens with independent media is that they all cover for each other, even when they're slime bags. Even when somebody acts nasty to somebody else, a lot of times they just cover it up and they're like, no, I don't want to talk about it because it's drama. But it's not. When people when people are treating people over and over and over again badly, and then others don't speak up and say, hey, that's not right. It's abusive. You're enabling that behavior, and it's not okay. And you're just leaving it so that the next person's just going to walk in and have to deal with the same thing. You know, and it's like, we don't call it out because we're like trying to be assholes. The whole point is that maybe you can grow and do better. You know what I mean? Like,
to hold people accountable for their actions.
Yeah. This, like, if not, are we any different than mainstream media? Like, really? Because they don't hold each other accountable at all.
No.
They completely, you know, cover for each other, and they let predators be among their mix, and they don't care. They really don't.
They don't like when you ask inconvenient questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you start asking those, you kind of end up getting outside of that echo chamber, as you put it, and then you start seeing the things how they really are.
Yeah, like, just takes a little crack, right? It just takes like a little like, you know, you poke that hole in there, and you're like, whoa, wait, what's happening here? And like, more of it kind of like falls down, and the veil is like, you know what I mean? It becomes thinner and thinner, and then you start to see a pattern of behavior, and you're like, wait a minute. And then other people will be like, yeah, you know, so-and-so had an issue with this, you know what I mean? With the same thing. And it's like, well, why is that not being addressed?
And then
you know?
You're laughed at or demonized for bringing it up. Like it's not a thing.
Yeah, like with actual evidence. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really? This is how we hold each other to account? This is how we're better? How are we any better than mainstream if we can't even work through our shit? At least acknowledge it, be truthful about it. Like, all right, yeah, like, I messed up on this. Like, let's correct it, and let's be honest about it.
Honesty is definitely something that's lacking in it, because even on its face, you know what I mean? From my perspective, just being beyond electoral politics, it's like everybody and their brother is a pundit with an opinion talking about the macro and the micro and the big picture, and all about politics, and all about how this candidate is better than that candidate, and just fueling the thing that will never ever change or afford anything more than fucking super incremental change. Like, it will never do anything, but yet everybody is down with hyping it every single time, every election year. Oh, Cornel West and Robert Kennedy, all of these names swirling around, and Marianne Williamson, and and keyword, election, vote. It's just this fucking mind-numbing programming that doesn't stop, and everybody is guilty of it. People have made fucking 60-year careers about writing on the fucking pontificating about the fucking bullshit of the fucking DC troll. Like, who gives a fuck, people? Can we fucking get past this and actually make some systems that can afford some change, and show people that, yes, we don't need to do it that way. That way is fucked up and broken. Let's make new ways to do things, and like focus energy on that instead of just keep talking about the same fucking garbage.
Wasn't it the 2014 Princeton study that showed our votes effectively mean nothing?
Yes.
I believe so, yeah.
Yes. I mean, anybody who was alive to see, you know, W and fucking Al Gore, you know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, you can't see that they blatantly stole an election, and then the next one, and they can just appoint whoever they want. The election is just, it's just like a ruse. It's like a carnival game.
If it actually brought us any change, they wouldn't allow us to do it.
If it was actually what it's supposed to be,
yeah,
it would be incredible.
I would love it.
Of course, I would endorse it.
Yeah. I mean, if we had,
remember Pasta coming on.
If we had integrity with it, and like, I think what needs to happen, if we're going to talk about like the election part of it right now, then what would need to happen is all sides need to come together and figure out how we're going to make it fair for everybody. Because if we can't do that, if we can't get all sides, if we can't get the conservatives and like the really lefties and like everyone in the freaking middle and every you know everybody on the political spectrum, because I don't think it's like a straight line. I think it's more of like it's a circle. You know what I mean? And there's the right and then there's the left, but like there's like you know what I mean? You're somewhere on that gauge, and I don't think it's necessarily like nailed down to being one side or the other. I think that everybody kind of like, depending on the issue, they fall somewhere on there.
Yeah,
But,
I made a bunch of notes as a personal reference on what needs to happen. And as far as making electoralism fair and just and having an actual democracy, I don't see it unless I feel it's going to have to be a violent revolution. History has shown us that's usually the only way it happens.
Yeah, there has to be
I
a
don't know
revolution.
I don't know if it has to be violent.
I would be happy if
you
it was
know.
like Chusey says, like we could do the Carnation Revolution thing, like Spain, that would be fucking beauty, because that would be like smoother. You know what I mean?
Right.
Less people would have to die for it to actually, but then in order to do that revolution, that's kind of still a half-ass revolution, because your armed forces are still your armed forces and your military is still your military. You know what I mean? Now it's controlled by the people, supposedly. Yeah, as soon as you start saying, no, Raytheon, we don't need to go over there and bomb the piss out of these guys, then you'll have another internal fucking thing. I don't think it could work in our situation, simply because of the money that's involved in fighting wars. There's a lot of money to be fucking made, so that's what fuels it. You know what I mean? That, and just obviously acquisition and mineral rights and different. There's lots of different things fueling that, but from our country, we are the people that make the big booms. So we need to fucking drop them so we can make more, so they can keep making money. And that's the thing that makes a Carnation Revolution probably impossible.
Yeah,
because of that driving factor.
Yeah, I say violent revolution just because the police state's gonna make it violent.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're the number one purveyors of violence. The state, absolutely, 100%.
Absolutely. And
traditionally, and I don't care what the fucking ideology or system of rule, that's pretty much the standard.
And then just everybody like talking about that as if like there is some kind of option for change, and then just like ignoring the rest of it. Like I don't understand. Like
that's what I was trying to get to. I remember Pasta coming on and talking about, well, what are you gonna do, Steve? What's your solution? And I'm like, we build new systems. And he's like, well, what if voting was what it's supposed to be, and what if our democracy actually functioned the way that it was supposed to be?
Well,
and I'm like,
let's get there.
What if, dude?
What if?
How do you get there? How do you make that happen with all of this corruption and all of the money, all of the fucking different players, all the different personalities, all the incentive to be fucking crooked? You know what I mean? It's like it's nearly impossible, and I'm like, it's just not reasonable. So meanwhile, while he's telling us how the elections are completely phony and fucked up and need reform, he's telling everybody, vote for Cornell, vote third party, like do this, do that.
It doesn't make any sense.
Why are you hyping those people, man? You're helping them, that system, to fuck us over. That's what I've come up with. Like, if you're not fucking working against it, you're helping it. If you're just talking about fucking which one's blowing which one, you're a party to it.
I haven't had a chance to read the SDG 16 yet, but it doesn't look good. So it's about how the UN is working to build a nationalized police state.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. We were looking at some of that stuff that was happening last year to that. along those lines. And the UN is a busy bunch of fucking pedocentric motherfuckers
Mm-hmm.
doing all kinds of fucking shady shit.
Yep.
I'm looking at a very short graph here, and guess where the public is at? Way at the bottom.
Oh, of course.
They're called subjects in the bottom.
Subjects, right? Because the king and everything, right?
Yeah. Is that why Biden said, something to the Queen the other day? Long live the Queen.
That's why he said God save the Queen, of course, because Joe Biden thinks he's king of America.
Yeah.
King of the railroads, baby. He's building a railroad to Mars after the one to India or whatever. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. Hopefully I don't die, before they get the railroad built to Guam or whatever he said.
I don't even know. Like, I just can't even believe it. Like,
That
I
would
saw
be pretty trippy.
him and Fetterman the other day together, and I'm like, oh my God, we are like really pathetic as a nation that there's so many of us that are able to comprehend
You
things,
should play that
and
clip. That
we're
was
just like,
horrendous.
do you know where it is?
I don't know, but it was terrible. Type in terrible Biden Fetterman. You'll get it. Computer.
But yeah, the echo chamber of how like everybody's just regurgitating what everyone else has said, the same opinions over and over again, and just like it feels like we're just not getting anywhere. And he left. It just feels like it's like, oh, you want evidence of this? Well, let me show you someone else's video, which is an opinion of the subject, and it's not actually like giving you any actually evidence of what it is. And it's like, well,
That's fucking great. Angela says the best line I've seen about Biden and is God save the Queen. Funny, I didn't take Biden for a Sex Pistols fan.
oh my God.
That is a fair point. No.
Oh, I see vegan is here.
Vegan succubus.
And Miguel, Roseanne. No, Lady Alex is talking about Roseanne.
Yeah.
Roseanne is boring.
Roseanne, she's kind of boring, but
She's a little bit out there.
She's very, very out there. I really feel like she's the kind of gal that if Lady Alex had like a cocktail party, she would fit right in. You know what I mean? Like we all get all loud and boisterous and voice opinions about fucking, brain implants and whatever stuff.
Yes, she has a podcast vegan. I'm behind in the
Marmots.
chat, of course, because I'm like trying to like
Marmots.
eat and like do all this. Oh, it's been a long
We
day.
listened to it yesterday and it was funny and it was completely erratic and fucking, exactly what you would expect. But also riddled with like crazy propagandist American nationalism and Trump stuff and like proud MAGA moments
But not really MAGA. Like she's not really like MAGA. It's really weird because I thought she
like reasonable.
She was depicted as more like this MAGA person, and
more like a reasonable person who was just like an obvious.
She's got some skewed views, so
an obvious convert from, being like seeing all the fucking horrors of 8 years of Obama and then. Boom.
She's really stuck on Obama. She's
Trump,
really stuck on Obama because that's when isn't that when they took away her show?
Yeah.
From her?
Yeah.
And like they tried to cancel her. So like that was like a very defining moment for her.
And then they did it again.
So she's really like stuck on the Obama thing. Like it's interesting.
Joe did it to her, with the fucking that's what happened when, because she was outspoken about fucking liking Trump. And she is a ditz, but she's also fucking wildly fucking knowledgeable about fucking weird shit. Yeah, it's entertaining as hell. I can't recommend it more than that. Eat some mushrooms and listen to the Roseanne Barr fucking podcast. You'll thank me, or you'll punch me. One or the other.
I mean, some people are younger and they're stuck in just new propaganda. Mm-hmm. It's just that she's got some older, she's got like the old school propaganda. That's all it is. Like you can kind of just tell like where somebody is propaganda wise, like or how they were taught, like depending on what parts you see.
There's certain levels of nationalism, you know what I mean, that are just like baked into people that are you know, maybe past 40 years old, say
Well,
40 to 80
okay,
years
well,
old. Those that group of people is programmed up. We all said pledge allegiance and fucking all this shit. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
we did.
We were robots.
Yeah, who said pledge allegiance to the flag? I mean, I know that I did for a little while. Then I just stopped doing it. Like, I was just like, I'm not doing this. Like, when we were at something for Skyla before, for her graduation or whatever, and everyone stood up and put their hand over their heart to, like, was it the pledge allegiance or whatever, or some friggin', I don't know. We didn't stand up. We stayed sitting down.
Yeah, it really felt
Everyone like kind of like looked at us like, what is happening? Why aren't they standing up for this? Why aren't they being patriotic with the rest of us?
It felt like a really like Scientology moment. I felt like I was surrounded by Scientologists for a second.
I want to let chat know something quick. I'm not sure if you're still eating or not, Lucky, but you make it streaming look a lot easier than it actually is. I've tried streaming a few times myself in the past, and it's not easy.
It's you have to really multitask. Like,
there's a bunch of shit going on.
Yeah, at the same time, like it's really crazy. Like, it took me a little bit to get used to it, and you can see like Steve gets totally clunky when he's doing it because he's not used to like actually sitting and like doing the chat and having to pay attention to all the things because he's doing music.
Yeah, when I'm just playing music, I'm just like squinting at the chat trying to see what people are saying, and that's it. Like, I can't really do much more than that. People are like, why don't you put my comments on the screen?
Because he's not. Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm singing.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to do.
Do you have a multi-monitor setup?
No,
we have two laptops.
So I just have one laptop in front of me. That's all I have in front of me.
Yeah.
Like, I just have that's why, like, when he's streaming, he sits here at this lap, you know, like.
And we have a mixer with two mics, so one mic over here and one mic over there.
Yeah, we're in the same room.
And we just
with two
the
microphones.
kitchen table from each other.
Yeah.
I tried streaming, monitoring chat, and doing gaming on one laptop, and it feels impossible.
It's challenging.
That's what we're on one.
One more monitor, even if it's a tablet or something, so you can read what is happening in the chat, is like would save you. You know what I mean? You can have a tablet close to you, or even a phone. You know what I mean? If you can make it big enough.
Oh, I wanted to bring up one of your tweets that you did, because I felt like this was so.
Did you speak to the counselors at the YepX law firm? Because I want to make sure we have clearance.
For what now?
I said, did she speak to the team of lawyers at YepX Incorporated? Because I don't want to get sued, you know, for.
If I could afford a lawyer, I mean, I'd be in the much better position.
I know, right? It's like such a privileged thing to say, like,
you, dude. I want to
get a lawyer or something.
You have a bank of like 12 guys that are dressed in seersucker suits, running around, frantically with briefcases, trying to put out fires and stuff across the internet.
Yeah, so according to the RBN chat, because I have a beat up old car, I'm privileged and really well off.
What? I know we drive an old '91 van, and I love my van, but
self-awareness is not their strong suit.
It's an old van. We live in an apartment. Like, we're not, we're just average. We're just average poor people. Like, that's it.
We're just average poor people with big mouths.
Yeah, and it's all right. So you put this tweet up. And like, I was like, when I saw this, I told Steve, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to have YepX on because I want to cover this tweet. And it just happened that we were like, we made the whole stream what we were going to cover tonight. And then Steve was talking to you and just like, hey, you want to come on? And I was like, oh, I can bring up that tweet. This is perfect.
Yeah, I just happened to see the notification on Twitter by chance. I just got home like a couple hours ago from work.
Nice. So you put into Chat GPT to write an essay on groupthink.
Yep.
And this is what you got from it. Can you see it, Steve?
If you make it bigger.
Okay, let me see. How is that? I moved it.
That's perfect. Groupthink is a psychological phenomenon that occurs when a group of individuals prioritizes harmony and conformity over critical thinking and independent judgment. Coined by social psychologist Irving Janis in the 1970s, groupthink has been studied extensively to understand the dynamics and consequences of decision making within groups. This essay explores the concept of groupthink, its characteristics, causes, and potential risks it poses to effective decision making. Characteristics of groupthink. A. Illusion of invulnerability. Group members believe in their inherent superiority and invincibility, leading to overconfidence and risk-taking.
So I want to go, kind of
Also,
like one by one. At these.
profound shit talking.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to like go at these like as like almost like bullet point things,
Sure.
like so.
Break it down, baby.
So the illusion of vulnerability, groupthink believe its inherent superiority and invincibility lead to the overconfidence and risk taking. I do notice this within groups, the groups of people. What do you guys think of that one?
Yeah, that's pretty much the mindset when someone is in, like, if you encounter say 10 people and they're all echoing the same thing, that's what's happening. They all feel like they're all right and you're fucking completely batshit for even trying to suggest something different.
Yeah. And there's B, which is belief in inherent morality. The group assumes its decisions are morally superior, disregarding ethical concerns or alternative viewpoints.
Yeah, that seems to be a resounding yes in that category. Like, for instance, when you have a trans man explaining his experience, transsexual man explaining his experience, and then the people responding are saying, well, you're transphobic. Like, are they calling that person transphobic when they're just explaining their own
lived experience,
their own lived experience? Like, how are they being phobic about anything that doesn't make sense? That's just crazy. And you are not morally superior in that regard to question that person. That's ridiculous. And that happens, like, first they'll say something stupid. Second, they'll smear you and call you something that, messes with that line of morality, like where they think they have the high ground collectively.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are just dumb and reactive, Lady Alex. Collective rationalization. Members downplay or dismiss contradictory information to maintain consensus and avoid conflict.
Yep. Well, that was a big thing. That was a big thing. The avoiding the conflict part. It was like go along to avoid the conflict, and we got to support each other. A lot of that same, like, that very, you know what I mean? Like, if there was something that was contradictory to like what they were saying, it was more important. It was always more important to, like, to avoid that conflict, to keep it going. Whatever it was,
to go along to get along.
It always is, and
that is collective rationalization. Absolutely.
You can butt in anytime you want. No pressure. Okay. Yeah, Max. I don't want you to think.
I'm just waiting to see if I come up with something to add here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I just want you to know, like, if you're like, hey, I want to say something.
Yeah, just say something.
Tell us.
We will shut up.
I wrote this tweet a while ago, and I forgot I had it. So,
no, this is a good one.
I love this one though. When you put that up, I was just like, oh shit! Like, this is like exactly, you know what I mean? Oh, this is exactly what we've been dealing with.
A lot of $10 words. That's
funny thing. When I told ChatGPT to talk about toxicity in the trans movement or LGBT movement or any of those other things that we've been experiencing, it wouldn't do it.
Yeah, it won't. And the ChatGPT, there are some like flaws within it because it doesn't it's not current and up to date. It's actually a few years ago. If you ask it things that are like really, really current topics, it doesn't know them.
Yeah,
Sometimes they'll give you errors that say we respect our so and so group, and we encourage our users to do the same, or some stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's why
it has standardized error messages that are like supposed to be, complimentary about, potentially, alarming topics and things,
Yeah.
Emotionally charged topics.
Alex, yeah, I'll cover that in a little bit. What happened? What I have heard firsthand knowledge about what happened with that, but
okay.
we'll cover that after. Go ahead, Steve.
Stereotyping and outgroup bias. The group creates negative stereotypes of outsiders, diminishing dissenting opinions and ideas. That's what they've done to us three.
Yeah, they've done it to a lot of people. I actually find that it's like it's really weird because like I won't tell anyone to like not watch one of these channels or shows because they've they've done whatever. Like I'm not telling anybody what to do. Like you don't do it, do you? You know what I mean? But I'm gonna tell you the truth about what I know, and that's that right there. I mean, it gives you like the information to make an informed decision. I mean, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And I'm not telling anybody to not watch somebody, or to like cancel them. I don't want that. Everyone has their own personal choice and their own limits and their own line in the sand.
So this is a perfect example of this. They expect you to use self-censorship, and individuals will suppress their reservations or criticisms to maintain the harmony. That's the go along to get along. Personified.
And they always do. Like people do that. They will tell you. They will tell you. I have a public opinion and I have a private opinion, and they will tell you that. And I know a lot of people's private opinions, and I can't share them, and I can't give them as examples, and I, because it's not for me to share. But sometimes those private opinions become public opinions, and if you are if you do that outside of the group thing, outside of that, like that narrative, that spin, that if you don't self-censor, then that's when you get attacked. That's exactly when you get attacked. There's not like, oh well, let's have a discussion as to why. Let's figure out why this person's feeling this way.
That's
right. Well, how can we solve this? Oh my gosh, did this person misinterpret something? That's not the reaction though. It's not logical reaction, at least.
Flakes can't fix your brakes when they're eaten by snakes.
What does that mean?
That's it. It's a Frank Zappa lyric. Sorry.
I've had to self-censor myself a lot on all sorts of social media because if I could say what I want, it would probably be classified as harassment.
Oh, I get it all the time. And I do sometimes reserve some of my judgment and don't always share it to things. But, I try to like not do that. I try to like be, who I am. But like sometimes I just know if I share my opinion of something, I'm going to get backlash. And sometimes I'm just like, I just don't want to deal with it. You know what I mean? Like I'm tired of dealing with that. You know what I mean? I should be able to voice an opinion. If someone disagrees with me, that they can disagree with me. That should be okay. And people should be able to hold that, but they don't. And they'll hold like certain people to one standard and other people to a different standard. And it's not like, it's not even, it's not equal. It really depends. You know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of factors that happen with these people. And it's to me, I'm like, I don't freaking have that in me. Like I don't have it in me to constantly like self-centered to benefit some kind of hive mindset if it's not the truth.
All right, let's read.
When I was off my mood stabilizers for a bit by accident, my self-censorship was very poor, and I took all the attitude you take towards the shit libs on Twitter and transferred it to Facebook, and of course the family didn't like that, and I got blocked, muted, and blacklisted from my own family.
Yeah.
So
I went through the kind of the same thing. I had like thousands and thousands of friggin' Facebook people because I was on there with the band forever and just all these different people that we encountered over the years playing different places. And as soon as I started being vocal about the fact that, Obama, dropped more fucking bombs on people than anybody else and saying actual truths about things, every one of the like people in the music scene around me that were all like shit libs that I had no idea that they were all shit libs. They were all like complete centrists, including members of the band that I was in. I'm like, are you guys serious? This is how you really feel? Like it all hit home one day when my bass player said that um what's his name? Oh God, who was the billionaire who got in the race super late?
Oh, Mike Bloomberg.
Mike Bloomberg. He was like, if Mike Bloomberg, wins the primaries,
Stop.
I'd vote for him. I'm like, what, dude? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, do you know about this person? And like, it just like, soon as he said that, it just made me question everything about everything. I was just like, wow. Here I was in this like, circle of musicians and heads, like they're all deadhead, fucking PBS listening to NPR loving fucking dumbasses, and I didn't really even put it together in my mind. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You guys trust all of this like verbatim? You don't understand that the MSM lies? It's like lots of lies for generations. You guys have been lied to, and like nobody, like I had no critical thinkers around me whatsoever. Like everybody was just cool with the school, whatever the deal was, whatever was easiest, the lesser of two evils, if you will. And sadly, I am not in that place anymore. I'm way past that place.
it was easier being in that place because, like you say, or like people say, ignorance is kind of bliss. So
yeah. Well, yeah, no, I see it now. Now I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's just the easy place to be, where you just stay stoned and just don't really give a fuck about war and don't really give a fuck about anything that your government is actually doing, and pretend that during the election you're gonna have some kind of say about something and it's all gonna be fine. And what could go wrong? And it's just I was surrounded by that for fucking just my whole life. And yeah, it sucks that it took me so long to wake up to the actual reality of what some of the things that are happening. I can't even put my head around most of the things that are happening. It's too much.
Yeah,
it's too much. It'll get you down if you fucking try to do all the things.
Yeah, that's why I had to step back for a little bit, because it was affecting me mentally. Because if you consume all this bad news 24/7, it will tear you down.
It will. Yep, that's what I'm saying. But you also have to, it's also cathartic to just talk about it and goof about it and, make fun of it as much as possible.
Thank you. We need critical thinking. You're a sweetheart. And yes, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Yeah.
And all you mothers too.
Well, no, Father's Day. It's Father's Day.
Yeah, but all you
Steve.
fathers that are mothers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I will.
Get some nice plants for Father's Day.
We got Steve some. We got him a couple pepper plants and a tomato plant.
Yes.
Oh, when you said plants, I thought you were talking about something else.
Oh,
no. we got him some food plants.
Food plants are good. That's like plant. As long as the world doesn't explode by then, I'm gonna have some peppers and some maters, and
one of the plants has like little tiny little peppers on it already. Like they're ready to go. They're like, yes.
Do we want to work through the rest of this? You want to Oz Whistles is like, you want to send him the link and have Oz on, or you want to just keep
we can keep going. I want to keep going through this here.
Okay, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
Where we were?
I think we were on D.
No, I read that one. Self-censorship was the next one.
Oh, F, I guess.
F, yeah. Illusion of unanimity. Dissenting voices are silenced or overlooked, creating an artificial perception of complete agreement. Let's just pretend that nothing's happening. Everybody on board? Okay, great. Now forget it. Direct pressure on dissenters. Members who express opposing views are presumed to conform or face social consequences, i.e., be blacklisted and, exiled to the furthest reaches of the burrito universe. Causes of groupthink are strong group cohesion. When group members have a high level of emotional attachment and desire for harmony, dissenting opinions can be suppressed. I would agree with that. Also, I think that direct pressure thing right before that was like the thing that you see in the chat room as soon as you offer a contrary opinion or idea and are jumped on and you know what I mean, by multiple people. They just, it's like a pig pile. That's what we used to do. We call it pig pile. Pig pile on daddy. Jump on, like 8 kids jump on the dad. And that was the thing when I was a little kid. It was a lot of fun. Fell out of fashion, I think. Most kids, I don't think they're hip to that. That seems to be how it works. If you say something, I mean, we kind of like feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's exactly the same thing as we see in chat rooms when people offer a difference of opinion. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Okay. Strong group cohesion. When group members have a high level of emotional attachment and desire for harmony, dissenting opinions can be suppressed. Of course.
Oh yeah. I mean, these are just
pretend it's not a thing. It's just like, oh, did you see that comment? No, I didn't.
No,
I'm going to pretend like I didn't.
They delete things. They ignore things.
They'll remove them from a chat. Sure.
Oh yeah.
I've seen it.
Yep.
I've seen that definitely happen. I've asked questions in, I can't remember.
They'll ignore even super chats when people pay money
yes.
to have a question asked. And it's like, I like to interact with everybody as much as I possibly can. And it's not a requirement that you give us a chat in order to get our attention.
Right.
Sometimes I will miss something,
it's
but
super awesome when people do, because that's generous. Like,
yeah, we appreciate it.
That's tremendous. That helps us fucking do what we're doing. But
we're not gonna ignore you if you don't.
Right. We're gonna make the effort to see what people are saying. It's because
that's a difference. It's a community.
And to me, it's also, that is the thing that is the most engaging part of content when you're streaming live, is the interaction with the people hosting the thing with the chat, because those are the people that are talking to each other. And you know what I mean? Like, it's just that those are the shows that I enjoy the most, is when there is that interaction.
Yeah.
So
let's say authoritarian leadership, an autocratic leader who discourages dissent and emphasizes their own ideas, can contribute to groupthink. Yep.
I know that one. It always happens on live streams and chats. If there's always that one live streamer, I noticed this just happened today with Due Dissidents. The chat was not only demonizing me, but so even the hosts, because we're doing it because I brought up uncomfortable questions. So
yeah, and that shouldn't be what happens. There should be a discussion, or you know what I mean, or at least you can just be like, yeah, I don't agree with you, and that's it. It doesn't have to be a thing.
We touched on that last time, that idea that if it used to be a quality that people tried to attain, having a civil discourse with someone that they didn't agree with, and both parties coming away from it still not angry and understanding the other person's perspective.
Maybe understanding it a little bit more. Maybe you don't come to an understanding, but maybe you do.
Even if you don't, at least being kind and patient with each other was a given. Like that was a
respectful
thing.
discourse.
Respect. Exactly. There was a lot more respect for people's time and their words and their inflection and all the different things about communication that are important. They all take time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like a bygone thing now. People
All
are
right,
just
do you
like,
wanna
fuck you,
go-
you're blocked.
You want to do? Yeah,
Peace.
yeah.
Peace.
I know. If I showed you guys my block list on Twitter, like I could do. Oh my gosh! At least the people that I know that blocked me,
Oh.
like you guys
On it.
would laugh.
We can do a whole stream on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I was blocked by Nancy Pelosi once. I mean, that's something, man. That is something.
Now you're just bragging.
Yeah, she's just
I'm-
bragging, show off.
I just like I couldn't believe it. Like, you know, people are like, "Oh man, you're my hero." Like no, I just, you know, I guess I hit a nerve. I don't know if it was her or whoever like runs her account, but they know they're not supposed to block people. It's against the law. So it was just like kind of like, whoa, I couldn't believe that actually happened.
I think I may have had some communication skills at some point, but you might have misunderstood what I said.
What?
Lady Alex was like, "Do you think we ever had communication skills?" I'm like, "Of course," except you might have misunderstood. It was a joke. These are the jokes, people. Insulation from external input, insulation from diverse perspectives, and limited exposure to outside information can reinforce groupthink.
Yeah, they'll because they use the labels.
She disagrees with me. I knew it.
They use the labels to label people as like, oh no, they're this or they're that or they're homophobe, and so it immediately gives you that pause to even listen to those people.
Hey, does it smell piney?
Teresa is here.
Teresa.
All right, keep going, Steve.
All right, here we are. You got to scroll up a little bit.
Oh, am I right? Really?
I'm already down to the bottom of it.
Wow.
I'm a lightning fast. Of course, I'm an excellent reader.
You're an excellent reader,
I'm
Steve.
an excellent reader.
Yes, you
I
are.
like to read sometimes. There's like a 30-second delay, people, between what she does and what I see. And wait a second, that's why it's not moving. You gotta make sure you're live on the thing. Okay. Now, lack of accountability. Individuals may avoid taking responsibility for decisions by attributing them to the group consensus. So it's not my fault that everybody thinks this, and you're wrong because everybody thinks this.
And I mean, like, there's always like the thing is like it just takes one person to stand up against a crowd of people and be like, this isn't right or something. You know what I mean? To actually enact change, it takes people being courageous. It takes people like feeling like they can stand up and speak up against a crowd. And when you can't, and when a group thing comes at you like that, it's like it doesn't make you feel like, oh yeah, well I know I can share my opinion, and if they don't agree with me, they don't agree with me. It's fine. But it's not like that. It's really not. I feel like there's just so much of it where that's not even an option for people. Like it's not an option to share outside of, you know, whatever the echo chamber thinks that you need to say. Like there's nothing outside of that for you. Like if you think outside of that, then you are blah 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 blah, all these different labels, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like you're a Fed, you're a freaking, oh my god, it's so stupid. It's the same things. It's like they you know, depending on the topics, they have a list of slurs and a list of freaking labels to put on you immediately if you talk outside of the group. I gotta plug my phone in.
Okay. Is there a way I can help you do that?
Yeah, unplug this.
Mm-hmm.
Unplug it. And then I need this purple one right here hanging. That plugged in. That's all I need.
Okay, gotcha. All right. All right. Somebody give Lady Alex a hug. Give Oz a hug. No. Teresa doesn't need a hug. Wait a second.
What are you talking
I'm
about?
losing my place on the damn.
Okay. Go back to where we were reading so
All
we can
right.
finish up
So
with
let's
it.
see.
That's
Missed
round
opportunity.
two.
Did we read that one?
Missed opportunities?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I don't know. Go ahead. Go for
Missed
that.
opportunities groupthink hinders exploration of diverse perspectives and innovative solutions that could lead to better outcomes. I agree with that completely
Yeah.
because if you're not willing to accept any information, how can you reach a better outcome?
Yeah.
You limit yourself.
Groupthink is like it's like self reinforcing groupthink when you know what I mean. You can't take any challenge.
Everybody
from
has to
anybody
enable
outside.
everyone else for it to be effective.
Yeah. And then once you break it or you poke a hole in it, it's like, man, does the air come out of
Yeah.
that quickly?
Yeah, erosion of trust. If the group decisions fail or prove disastrous, trust within the group can be significantly undermined. Well, obviously, because if your dumbass was fucking just going along with it because, and then everybody gets found out to be wrong, yeah, it's going to diminish trust between the people, certainly.
Well, yeah, well, especially who's reinforcing that groupthink for the people, right? Like, because there's usually certain people within that group that are going to reinforce it. They're gonna stand up and be like the leaders, the loudest voices, and people just listen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just saying, challenge the people that you're listening to. Ask why. Ask questions.
And there's usually, but not always, some kind of power or money or influence or something behind that reasoning.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just ego is the influence.
It is the start of it, but a lot of times it's more about access to that group of people.
Right.
That will drive it or steer it.
Yeah,
anyway.
because you get on the right, you know what I mean? Especially within the indie media, like if you kiss the right people's ass at the right time,
yeah, you can
and
jump
enough.
You can jump on the JD train, or you can get fast tracked. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
So in conclusion, groupthink is a phenomenon that occurs when the desire for consensus and conformity overrides critical thinking and independent analysis within a group. While group cohesion and collaboration are valuable, it is crucial to recognize the risks associated with groupthink. Encouraging diverse perspectives, fostering an environment that values constructive dissent, and promoting individual critical thinking can mitigate the negative effects of groupthink and enhance decision-making processes. By remaining vigilant and aware of the pitfalls of groupthink, groups can achieve more effective and robust outcomes. That was really well written for a computer.
Yeah. I thought it was too. I found that to be so interesting when you posted that. I was like, yeah, man. I'm like, this is exactly what like what we've been dealing with is exactly it's that group thing, it's that group mentality, it's that self-censorship and the way they pile on you. And so I know that you had your own experiences with independent media, and I mean we didn't push you to to ask anything or to do anything, but you were treated, it seems like, very similar to how we were when we asked the questions. And it's really the patterns there, like it just it becomes easier and easier to see that the pattern is there, and that it's like, all right, well, people are just going to keep doing this kind of shit. This is just the new, this is just the new normal of how people behave. And this is what we are pushed to accept somehow.
Do we have to wear fishnets this time, Lady Alex?
What?
She's like, let's all do the time warp again. So I just assumed.
Skyla's wearing fishnets today.
Yeah. Fishnets, and I think you have to have like black nail polish or something.
She does not have black nail polish on.
No, yeah, you guys didn't push me to do anything. I was more curious to see what would happen, and I didn't expect it to happen so quickly.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, I was shocked.
It's startling, man, when you think you're allies with people, and then they just like, oh, well, you're a because you said a thing. Like, what?
It's just completely reactionary.
Everything.
Like
yeah.
it's not thought through. It's not thought through. It's like, it's the base. It's really basic questions, or like just basic questioning the narrative. And I didn't think that you did anything that was rude. I didn't think that, you know what I mean, you weren't vindictive or mean. And that's how it started with us too. It was just simply just asking things because it didn't make sense. Something didn't add up. Like, why is this perspective not talked about? Or, you know what I mean? Like,
it's just such a trait, man, in across the board in this realm, from asking someone why they feel certain way when everything about them would suggest otherwise, and then get your head ripped off on a live stream in front of all of these people in the chat that your friend that you interact with constantly. You know what I mean? You like see them every time there's a live stream. You're in this audience of people, and then the host just rips your face off because you asked a question. You dare to ask a question.
Yep, that happened to me.
That's ridiculous.
And then angry TikTok videos came after that. Yeah. I think that's like where it kind of that's where I think it started, was when was with Graham Elwood on his live stream, when he went after us. I think, like at first it was like we had KRTD, and then I think it was like the Graham Elwood situation, and then like how he just turned at a drop of a freaking dime when it came to, the boop boop. He just began pushing it, and we're just like, whoa, what? Like, wait a minute here. Like, it was just a really defining moment. And like, it's something that we can easily go back to, as Steve clipped the video of some of his reaction and stuff. Like, it just seemed so shocking to us. Like, whoa, dude, like, we're fans of yours. We support you. You've actually seen us on Zoom, comedy shows with Jimmy Dore and with Steph and with Ron Placone and Mike McRae and like all of those people. Like, we've interacted with them on Zoom comedy shows and stuff, like live,
It's like
and then to just go from that. Yeah, and being a supporter to like getting like completely like just trash live on air, and then videos made about you afterwards, like mocking you. It's just like, it's like, what? Like, what just happened?
Demented.
Yeah, each of them do good work in their own right.
Sure.
Depending on the topic, what it may be. But it just seems like you could never criticize them for what they're doing wrong. And that's just, I think, is why we just don't seem to get any headway as far as being on the left, because we're always fighting with each other instead of holding each other accountable and lifting each other up in the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are definitely against people speaking up, speaking truth, and holding other people accountable, and grouping together in that way, in a way that, you know what I mean, like the tide lifts all boats. That kind of situation. Like, that's what we're about. We're like, no, fuck that. I don't care who any of these people think they are. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody's doing something good and I'm aware of it, I want to try to fucking shine some more light on that person and try to, it's not like we have any kind of influence or anything. We're just trying to.
We're small little like fish in this big ocean,
we're just point out the good people, and we have like some of the best people in this whole space in our chats at any given time.
Yeah.
So that, like, right there makes us want to keep
really authentic people,
and that's why we do it the way we do it, and continue to do it, and nobody else can like influence that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not driven by money. You know what I mean? Like, we're not making a bunch of money off of this. We're not requiring you guys to give us super chats in order to talk with us. You have access to us.
We're not. Sent us a super chat, by the way.
You did?
Thank you.
With exception to INN, I haven't removed anyone from a recommendation as a source of information. even though I have lots of criticisms, because even though I may not always act like it, I still feel like I'm trying to be the bigger person here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, that's fucking, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And I think that's noble, and you should, I mean, really, if you're interested in understanding all the perspectives of things, you should get as many different viewpoints as possible about the same subjects, and you know what I mean, and research it and get, develop your own opinion. And having different perspectives coming at you, even if you don't agree with 90% of what they say, it doesn't really matter, because maybe they're spot on about something. You know what I mean? And that's the only reason I bother with any of these people at all. You know what I mean? Like, I will fucking look in, if there's something that I need to understand, I will go seek out that information myself, and I will read about it, and I will try to process it. And if I don't understand it fully, I will go try to seek out someone else that I respect and understand is an articulate source of information, and generally speaking, an honest one. And you know what I mean? As long as people kind of fall into that zone where, you know what I mean, they're trying to be as honest about stuff as they can, that's fucking A-okay with me, even if they're fucking wrong half the time. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, just like, and being able to be honest about things, and just take, like, take some feedback on things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Be able to evolve.
If new information comes out and completely, like, flips something I believe on its head, sometimes there's a little bit of a processing time. Like, I remember, like, when Steve first will bring me some kind of information sometimes, especially with the big C things that have happened, because at first we were completely, like, believing everything. Like, we didn't get, like, the shots or anything, but, like, at first we really, like, we believed, like, full on everything, that we were being told, and we were, like, in that, like, fear bubble. Like, it didn't last very long. Like, it didn't last very long with us, but it was there, and I'm honest about that, because I think that is also something that's really important, that's really lacking, is that people aren't honest about things when they were wrong about something. Like, yeah, like, they fooled me for a little while, and I'm humble enough I can say, like, yeah, I held that opinion that you hold, like, when I'm talking to somebody who still believes in, like, a lot of the narrative or whatever it is, like, I can say, listen, I understand, like, I relate, I have empathy, like, I was there, I've been fooled, I've been indoctrinated, and, it's a lifetime of unlearning and relearning, and then making sure that what you're relearning is actually the truth.
I spent, I think, about 2 years just processing the information that was coming out, both on the side and not on the side of the whole C thing. And then eventually the information got to a point where narratives were falling apart.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started to realize that now I know what my stance is. Because there's too much of the information out there that says something isn't right. And I'm trying not to get you deplatformed from YouTube, just kind of skirting the lines here a bit.
Yeah. It's awful, because, like, it's the same self-censorship that you have to have within, like, the group think, right? It's the same thing that YouTube does and influences on everybody. And that's what my problem is that, like, people can't even acknowledge that, like, that group think happens, and that same censorship that, like, you have to, like, talk within a certain lines and a certain confines. It's the same thing in the indie media sphere as what YouTube imposes on us. It's the same thing. Like, you talk out of that, and guess what? You're going to get strikes, and then eventually they're going to cancel you, right? It's the same thing with independent media.
The only one who seems to somehow get away with it more is Jimmy, but he has a huge platform, and he has an inside man that he can talk to. Not everyone has that.
He rides the line. And if you look at what he does, he is easily, I mean, probably out of us three people, he's a year behind on most anything that he's claiming to be first on. like almost anything. I don't give a fuck.
But
what
if you're not
about.
digesting other people that are, you know what I mean, like speaking of these things, and you're not digesting it, then of course you're gonna think you're first on it.
But yeah, but you know what I'm saying though. His persona is that I'm just right on the cusp of everything fucking happening, and he's the burgeoning light. Of light, you know, and I'm just like, no, dude, you're about to fucking, you're at least 11 or 12 months behind me on almost everything I hear you talk about.
I'm still grateful that he's getting the word out.
Absolutely. I was gonna get to there. That's exactly how I feel about it. Is no matter.
But there's just no humble. He's not humble.
Right. There's no humbleness at all.
That's the difference, right?
That's totally fine.
Like,
he is informing.
Own the ego. Own the ego.
He's informing people at a just like an exponential rate compared to what we can affect. And even if he's missing the point on 60% of what he's saying, he still has that 40% that is still like you know, a wealth of information for people who potentially are still just consuming the nightly news and fucking, you know what I mean, and all the
I feel like he's a stepping stone
view of stuff, and you know what I mean. Even if he's a fucking year behind, he's still he's 5 years ahead of the fucking MSM.
Yeah, well, I think he's like a stepping stone for people that's really comfortable. You know what I mean? Like it's easier. Like, you know, Jimmy's a lot easier for people to, you know what I mean, to digest some of.
A gateway media drug.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
But what is he a gateway into? Because where do people go from there?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They generally get sheepdogged into a corral with, you know, Bernie supporters or.
Well, you get into the indie media sphere. That's how we found Graham Elwood. That's how we found a bunch of the people, right? So, like, we have to kind of think about where is he actually corralling the people into?
Where do those ramps empty out into? That's the thing.
Yeah, where's the exit ramp?
And you come out. Where's the exit ramp dropping you off? Oh, is it into a bigger pen with a big D on the fucking door?
Well, yeah. Are they recycling ideas? Are they just like reacting to his content, or are people challenging you? So it kind of depends on like where you kind of go. Like if you kind of take that on ramp on and you're going to take that exit, then you know what I mean? Like where the people go and you know what I mean? Like it's everybody's individual choice and everybody's individual journey, and who they trust and why they trust that person more than someone else. Like that is everybody's own choice.
Yeah, I think that's a very personal thing about this. Is
how
that person affects you.
Used to be a don't judge too harshly, like a Sam Cedar liberal kind of person prior to 2016.
Yeah,
and the evolution was slow. It's not like an overnight thing like you want people to be as much as I desperately want them to be.
Right.
It takes time, and that's the frustrating part.
Yep. It does, yeah. And it takes time to kind of like weed out like where you kind of feel. Because if you're listening to somebody and you're just taking their opinion and you're replacing it with your own, then is that really your opinion? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
just said it backwards, but that's
no. I'm saying like if you are listening to Sam Cedar, and you're taking his opinion,
okay.
And you're like, you know, that opinion becomes yours because you're trusting this person on TV, and you're not challenging what he's saying, and you're just taking it at face value as being completely factual and true, then you might not be getting 100% like, you know, authentic, real information, and you might be basing your opinion on something that's not true.
Yeah, I use
or that's slanted, you know what I mean? So like everyone kind of needs to find that, you know, like find that middle ground, question things, don't just accept.
That's what you hope for, is that people will do that. But that's what I'm saying is like that group thing we're talking about is when you get a big group of people, a huge following, and you offer contrary ideas in their chat or whatever, like it just goes nuclear immediately. They're just like, kill all dissension, you know, and Like that idea.
It's like,
is-
wow.
It's very toxic. Like if you go into Jimmy Dore chat, it's toxic as fuck.
There
It's
is
just
so many people
every
saying
different-
everything all over the place.
which
like,
is a great representation of the audience base, because
it's a mix.
everybody's all over the fucking
But
place.
if you go in other chats and you say something that's like against what they're saying, how other people pile on you
my problem
can be very telling.
my problem with it all is the fact that now Jimmy has this reputation as this dissenting voice, right? When, remember back, there was a guy named Hunter Thompson, and he was a dissenting voice and all of this. You know what I mean? Like, these people worked for the fucking State Department and shit. So I don't know what Jimmy's trip is, you know what I mean? But there's like a faction of people that believe watching NPR is somehow being subversive to their government. And watching Jimmy Dore is also in that same kind of realm, you know what I mean?
And we don't know what
It's a
he's
crazy
getting fed,
lefty
though,
guy.
too.
He's a crazy lefty guy. He said there was no fucking, crazy shit happening in the desert that one time, and there really wasn't. And oh my God, you know what I mean? Like, just this legendary, like, sort of outside the box kind of subversive alt personality, like this, like that thing is like fed upon by the masses, you know what I mean? Like, people just want to feel like they're stepping outside the norm, but still safely. You know
They want to feel like
they
want to feel like they are having that they are educated and they have like the most up-to-date information as well. If you're digesting like political stuff too, usually that's why you want to know what's going on. You want to be informed.
Yeah,
But I don't want to make it too much about him and one particular person.
I'm just saying, in this realm, that is the, like, the tool. You know what I mean? Is like, that's the
the one with the biggest following is the one that everyone else follows, right? If you want to get on that algorithm, what do?
Reaction.
Hop on the train.
You hop on that train that you see is going up.
You just sit on Jimmy's lap, and he will take you all the way to glory. If you get on the Jimmy Dore train, it's super easy because you can just do commentary about other people's commentary about his commentary, and then you can do commentary on that. You know what I mean? You just never run out of content.
You don't run out of other people's you don't run out of content when you're not producing your own content. It's really easy. It's super easy. It's like, oh, okay, I'll just watch this and I'll take someone else's content and I'll create that and make that my content now. And my reaction to their content that they put all the work into is, you know what I mean? That's now content. And it just it creates more echo chamber. It's like, well, maybe I don't want to know what someone else's opinion is. If I wanted to know what their opinion is, I would watch them.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that a lot of channels, not just Jimmy or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
No, a lot of people do it about Jimmy.
Well, yeah. I don't see very many international stories being covered very much.
Nope.
And I don't see. I have a bunch of these resources I keep forgetting to look at, and there's just too much to look at every day. You cannot keep up with it. But yeah, I wish there was more coverage on those issues instead of some of the culture war issues, instead of the commentary thing. And that gets old pretty quickly.
It does, and then it becomes very echoey. And then once you once you even ask something about it or you push back about that, just I dare anybody to start asking more questions. Ask why. Ask why. Ask these people that you're following. Ask them why.
That'll be fun. I guarantee you'll have a blast.
You might get canceled for it. But I dare you to. I dare you to push back and or ask questions that aren't being asked. See what happens. Are you going to get answers, or are you going to get pile on?
Yeah. Or wishy-washy, dodgy answers that don't really answer anything. Especially if you question their sources, or you start questioning their motives, or who they're platforming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you vet the people that you bring on? Like, I mean, and not everyone that we bring on to shows doesn't mean that we agree with everything that's 100% of them. We're not saying that. But if you have a choice between platforming, say, I don't know, a predator, or you have a choice of platforming somebody that's not a predator, who are you going to pick? I know who I'm going to pick. Who are they going to pick?
That's a tough choice, Lucky. I mean, what about access journalism?
I know, access journalism to a predator. I mean, God.
The not predator?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think I would go with the not predator.
All right.
That would just be my first choice, you know.
Chad Wilson.
What's up, Chad?
You old so-and-so. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Chad
I
ran.
don't want to belong to any club that would accept me as one of its members.
But yeah, I think everybody should challenge, you know, like I think we should be having more robust discussion and actually talking about things and challenging things, and it shouldn't be an immediate smear if you don't agree with somebody. It shouldn't be like, oh, you think that, then that means this. That equals this. You know what I mean? And like it's with such, like, you can get sucked into it so easily. Especially on social media.
It takes more courage to admit that you were wrong and you were lied to than it is to just double down.
Yeah. And I would love to see some of that. I would love to see some integrity coming from people. I think that people absolutely could, you know what I mean, turn around and be like, you know what? Yeah, okay. That was fucked up. We're going to, like, you know, we're going to work on this. We're going to address this. Like, I would have so much more respect for people if they actually were truthful about it. If they could admit things and they could just, you know what I mean, not do the whole, like, no, we're going to self-censor, or we're going to push the group think, or we're going to, you know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, if people actually had real conversations with people, you know what I mean? Like, I've had people attack my content and attack what they see me putting on Twitter, and then, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, do you watch my show? Do you watch, like, me break stuff down? Do you look at the evidence I produce? Because when I do a show that I heavily research and I'm putting, like, stuff together, I put all those links in the show notes. I want to make sure that, like, anyone else that is like, oh, well, let me check that out. Let me see. Maybe they'll find something that's completely opposite of what I'm saying, and they can give me that, you know, give me that information. You know what I mean? Like, we're willing to, like, hear, you know, different sides of it and evolve our opinions. And that's what we're here to do, you know, but I just feel like when it comes to this, like, indie media sphere, this groupthink sphere, like, it just, we're not going to get anywhere if we keep doing this. If we keep, you know, if it's more of this same shit, we're not getting anywhere. We're really not. And it's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. And it is a drag to be lamenting the stupidity and, you know, dumbing down of people. But ultimately, when you're out, if you're outside of it and you're just not constantly subject to a barrage of this fucking mindless, crazy groupthink, and, like, you know, these are people actively, like, smearing you from behind blocks and stuff and trying to be sneaky about it and just putting down your fucking name and stuff with no kind of evidence whatsoever to suggest that you're any kind of fucking person other than what you fucking say you are and have been shown to be. You know what I mean? It's just,
I like to make fun of Jimmy's
much.
ego.
And I like to make fun of, you know,
like, I'm just honest about it, you know,
all
like,
the time whenever I can, because
I think it's funny.
Fuck them if they can't take a joke.
It can be incredibly lonely and disheartening after you take that red pill. So,
oh yeah, no, we absolutely know that we can't change the people, but we can talk about it, and talking about it makes you feel better.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why.
It feels therapeutic at times to like, you know what I mean, just to be able to express it and be like, oh, I know that, like, I am definitely, I got some crazy, but like, I'm not 100% just all crazy. Like, I know there's other shit
Lucky
happening.
burrito, not all crazy all the time. Excellent. That should be your motto.
That should be my motto.
That should be like your call thing. I could do like the creepy DJ voice, Lucky burrito, not crazy all the time. Welcome to Burrito After Dark.
Yeah, Teresa. Luckily we didn't, but we have people that, you know what I mean, that have confided in us, and like I had somebody confide in me that they're afraid to go get certain tests done because they're afraid of what the after effect of being, the coercion that happened around this. And I'm like, well, it's better to know, and if you need somebody, I'm there. I'll help you. I'll go.
Maybe you and Teresa can talk on a Rumble where you don't have to censor yourself so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a way better.
We'll have to do that. We'll have to do one on specifically, that soon. Definitely.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll get young Richard Rance.
Yeah, Ricky is awesome. Ricky is so, like, he never stopped gaining information when it came to the Big C, and so yeah, we'll definitely. I think him and I will have to do a rant show soon. We have vegan coming on Thursday, which is really exciting. I love when vegan comes on.
Vegan succubus.
Vegan succubus. And the next Thursday, the following Thursday, I have Emmeline Dowd coming back on, and she was on 6 months ago. So we're going to catch up and see where she's at now, and see how, how life has changed in the last 6 months with her and everything. So if you haven't seen that episode, you should go back and watch it.
Did Buck Angel ever give you some contact information for other people to talk to?
I gotta ask him for a couple other contact things, but I've been in contact with Buck since he was on. Yeah, he's a sweetheart. I was so thrilled that he said he would come on the show, and and he said he'll get me in contact with other people. So I'm gonna reach out with him. I'm gonna reach out to him tomorrow and see.
Yes, Lady Alex is our resident nurse Ratchet. She'd be good to talk about the C word too. Also,
yeah, definitely.
We could do a panel thing or something. That would be groovy. Hey, stop agreeing with me. Don't agree with me. Damn it. I thought that's what this show was about. Before you know it, there'll be 11 people agreeing with each other.
I know,
calling the other 9 people crazy.
It's all right. It's all right. We don't always have to agree. That's the great thing. Is it's really good, to have a wide variety of opinions, from everybody. I don't agree with Steve 100% of the time. Okay, I don't.
That's pretty fucking generous.
Yeah. Whatever, Steve.
53%.
And sometimes we agree with each other very loudly.
That's right. Usually
we're loudly agreeing, and we're just saying it from a different perspective. And sometimes that happens. Hey, Kami John, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see some good people in here we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, it's always good to see all the people. It's always good to see you guys.
And it's good to rant, Lady Alex. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
totally what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, we got to get you on and do a show too.
Lady Alex hasn't been on.
Oh no, she's been on.
Oh yeah, she's been on a bunch of times.
We talked about all sorts of weird
stuff
with her.
we did a sex worker stream together. We did one on United States occults, all the different ways that we can be in cults, and we've done medical ones, and we've done everything. It's great.
Who was the one that you had on about a week ago on the paranormal stuff? That was
Zainab.
Zainab, yeah.
Yeah, Zainab Day. She came on. That was great. Yeah, she's been on a few times. We've talked about stuff. I like getting on. I like having a place where the community. You know what I mean. You guys can hit me up and be like, hey, let's do a show. And like figure it out because it's fun. It's fun and it's fun to get you guys like out of your shell and on the screen with me. It's not too painful, is it? Is it really painful? Tell them. Am I awful?
Painful. You don't see it, but near my desk, I'm chained, and
Oh no!
and then she shocks me if I don't reply.
I have a buzzer.
Yeah,
He's wired up right now. We didn't want to tell you guys, make anybody feel uncomfortable, except for Yepex, of course.
It's like 50 Shades of Grey with Lucky Burrito. It's. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Put your toes back in the bucket.
There's a fish tank with electric eels down there. I'm awful.
It's cheaper than
I'm
batteries,
awful.
I've seen some things with some eels, but I can't bring it up here.
Oh no!
Oh.
That's probably talk for another time. Maybe when we're talking about aquatic life or something. Is that what that's called? Aquatic life? I don't know. That might be a subgenre.
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah, we'll just go there.
All right. Does this include gerbils? Lady Alex said.
Oh boy!
See, I told you she was a weirdo.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, people find out in the end it's just sex and fun. It's the best fun
Absolutely.
you can get. Just saying, it's true. I agree with you, Oz Whistles, and you're Australian, so that's saying something.
He's in the future, guys.
He's way
Just
in the
remember
future.
that Oz is in the future. He's gonna solve our problems, right? Oz?
Did Steve send Oz the thing to come on if he wanted to?
No, I didn't, because she's sitting in the driver's seat.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, I'm just watching that. I'm watching the show with you guys, but I have a microphone.
Oh, I wanted to before we went into that. I did want to show. Lady Alex hinted earlier about something, and I wanted to show and give an update. This is a tweet by Hunter. And you might know Hunter from, if you know, she was part of the show AM Wake Up, Slow News Day. So this is a tweet from her from June 16th to 2023. And it says, I unfortunately have to make this point, which sucks because if any of you know me, you know that I have worked closely and lived with and cared about the person I'm about to talk about. I want to encourage people to no longer financially support Steve Pokinen. I always call him Pokemon. Or Slow News Day. Ty took over Pasta's name on the lease in Vegas because Steve was worried about being homeless. Less than 2 months later, he vacated the property without letting us know and refused to pay the rent. This has resulted in us losing the deposit we paid, an eviction in Ty's record, so we can no longer rent anywhere, financial hardship, and homelessness due to the fact that we paid the deposit. This is not the first time he's done this to his friends either. He lies and deceives to get donations from his viewers, but does not do what he says he is doing with the money. I am not looking to cause drama or be petty. I am simply looking out for the people that I have to become close with so they do not give their money to him. So that's a whole lot to unpack. I did reach out to Hunter, and she told me that they were homeless. They were living, they got evicted from the apartment that they were all, that they were living in. They were able to get into a hotel and stay with family. And they have been able to secure apartment now. But yeah, this happened. Apparently it's happened before, and there's other people that are calling this out. And I'm not bringing it up because I'm trying to gang up on anybody, but the thing is that this is the kind of thing that we need to address within the community, because a lot of this, what will happen with the groupthink echo chamber is that this will get covered up and she'll get smeared for speaking out about what happened and her actual experience.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm not familiar with this story or who Hunter is. So.
Yeah, it was just she you know, she worked on the show, and that's what happened. So yeah, you don't have to, you know, you don't have to say anything about, a topic that you don't know, but I wanted to just definitely, put this out there that this is something that was brought up, and it was brought to my attention, and I wanted to, just let people know. I would say ask questions and try to, find out and decide if you do support or don't support it. That is up to you.
I asked for comment, so
yes, Steve did ask for comment.
Let's see what the Poikin Man says.
It's unfortunate when stuff like that happens, especially, my heart breaks for anybody that's suddenly homeless. It's a really tough spot to be in.
Fuck yeah.
It's really tough when people that you trust, you think, you think you trust, that happens.
Shit does happen, and it'd be good to fucking understand it. That's all. That's what I'm saying.
I put the StreamYard link in there if Oz does want to come on and join us. We have about another hour or so that will be live. And We Need Critical Thinking says, when you give money to some people, you know you will not get it back. Wisdom comes at a cost. Best wishes to all involved. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm just glad that they were able to secure a place. Yeah. And, like, she's taking a step back. She's not on social media anymore right now. She deactivated her Twitter due to getting harassment. So, I just wanted to give an update in case people did see that or they weren't on Twitter.
I'm sure we'll get harassed for bringing it up.
Well, I mean, we're not shitting on anybody. We're just expressing, you know what I mean? Like,
when's that
it's
ever
just something that
anybody?
happened,
When's that ever stopped anybody from giving a shit? When, I ask you? Never. That's when. What are you going to do? It's Happy Impregnation
it's just...
Day. I had no idea. I would have bought somebody some slippers or something.
I know, right?
Mr. Karma going to get you. That's right. Go right upside your head.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not for me to judge. You know what I mean? I don't know all the details of what happened. I just know what you know what I mean, like what she said, and I've heard, I've gotten information about it happening previously.
I was not laughing at that. I was laughing at Miguel. He's like, it must be Father's Day because there's lots of dad jokes.
Oh my gosh, I know, right? It should be
I don't think there's enough.
Yeah, there needs to be more. Bring on the dad jokes. How come Norman Kina always sings Men at Work songs when Oz is about to jump online? Do you think that's some reference to his Australian background? I'm not sure.
All right, I think we have Oz here.
Oh.
Hey, Lucky. Hey, Yipex.
Hi.
Brother Oz.
Brother Yip.
All right, I think we have Oz here. Oh.
I'm here.
There he is.
Hey, Yipex.
Hey, Lupin.
Hey, listen, I'll have to cut over to the StreamYards, and otherwise I'll be getting echoes and shit. Hang on.
Loopity doop doop doop.
Okay, yeah, I've done the tech. So, Yipex, you're sort of, what's your name? Fred, is it?
What now?
What's your name?
Oh, my actual name is Cody.
Cody. Okay, good. I'm Mitch. Nice to see you. And yeah, look, I'm really enjoying what you're observing, and yeah, I concur. You're just so well on the way. Um, look, the first thing I wanted to ask is, have you read my paper?
Your paper? What paper is that?
Well, Lucky can probably connect you with that.
You
Yeah.
can send him the paper. All right, let me see my tablet. I probably could send it to him right now.
Look,
Well, we can't. We don't want to send it to Yepex right now. We can
Well,
get
that
it.
will distract him.
Yeah, it's a really long, in-depth paper. You can't just like. I have it printed. It's a lot. But yeah, you should. We did a stream on it too.
You need
just
about
get it
48 hours to get
on
sucked into it.
on the Discord or something, and
Yeah.
because I'm finding it really hard to distribute the fucker. It gets blocked all over the place and gets appropriated and used in other people's commercial concerns and stuff. I don't care about that. I only care about people being allowed access to the obvious fucking truth. And
I'll have to have Lucky DM me the paper later.
Yeah.
Okay, but give it a read. It's very obscure because it's very abstracted down to the roots. Do you understand the real meaning of Occam's razor?
Hmm?
Do you understand the real meaning of Occam's razor?
Oh, the simplest solution is often the answer?
No, that's false.
Oh.
Occam's razor is the knife that can cut anything in half.
Oh.
That's the root meaning, but it's academic. It's saying if you can cut any concept in half, then the two halves still function. Then you need to cut more, cut the halves in half, and when you cut them at the last time and they stop functioning, you've learned that you've cut one time too far and you found the truth. That's the real meaning of Occam's razor. It's been totally buried.
Yeah, I agree with that.
People say, the simplest solution. No, that's before you find simplicity, you have to cut. And they're saying, oh, no, forget about the cut. It just seems plausible, Then it plays into narrative, because narrative relies on plausibility. Because we weren't there, we're hearing a story, we can't corroborate, oh, that sounds plausible, that must be the truth. But it's actually just a carefully crippled narrative. You remember the Skripals, the Russian spies who were poisoned by Novichok but didn't die. And I'm sort of going, you know what? I think the Skripals probably did exist once, but the photos and narrative we were given about them, they never existed. And you know why I understand this is because the Russians go, oh, the West has invented these Skripals. They're long dead. It's a narrative. We can change it. And they said, have you took care of the cat and two hamsters that the Skripals had? And the UK people were going, we have to invent two hamsters and a cat. So by their lies,
You got to modify the narratives, man.
That was so funny. This is how the Russians work. They sort of go, oh, you made a narrative, did you? Okay. We can talk. Remember, we've got Tolstoy and Dostoevsky, and we know how to create narrative, but we're very sparing with it. How can we make this hurt Britain? Oh, well, we got the cat, but it was infected, and we took it to Porton down and shoved it in an incinerator. And the hamsters. I mean, the Russians, they're not stupid people. I don't think any people are stupid, but our ruling class, the people who rule us, are stupid. Anyway, look, I just wanted to explore, Yepex, where you're going with your shit, because I'd like to support you.
I feel rather on the spot, underprepared, because you come to this discussion much more educated than I.
Nah, just more energetic. That's all.
Yeah, that's probably it too. My goal is to just keep pushing, just keep seeking answers, and whatever happens, happens. I don't have a real plan. I'm not gonna.
No plan is the best plan, because you can change it at any time, and it's still the plan, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's called the Bayesian method, trial and error.
Yeah.
Let hit the drum and feel the ripples, and then until you feel the ripples, you don't hit the drum again.
So Oz, what can we do as a tribe to not do the group thing, to challenge each other, and to not get stuck in that mode that we are seeing and all that?
I have been thinking about this a lot, and it's not easy. You have to understand what is the totemic defining your tribe. This gets really academic, and nobody. What's the fuck you talking about? Yeah, but I'm an old guy, and I have been thinking about this shit for a long time. But a tribe is defined by a totem. The totem contains all of the articles that define what goes into and out of the tribe and what happens in it, which includes all of the rituals and stuff. And look, don't diss it. Don't diss rituals. Rituals are very, very, very important. When you need to overcome a tribal problem, you need to do a ritual as a bridge to overcome it. And we've lost the art of ritual in this civilization. It's all become, just buy Pepsi. You know what I mean? Just buy Coke. And Pepsi and Coke are invasions of our totem. This is if you look up all of the literature on advertising, you will see that they totally got what Bernays was talking about, and they have been systematically branding, and they insert their brand into your totem, into your tribal totem, and so you're just a little bunch of people say, "Oh, we like Coke." Well, why do you like Coke and not Pepsi? Oh, it's always been that way. No, it hasn't. It got inserted into your totem.
Yeah.
And that's how the
But how do we challenge that?
So, to answer the
just
question,
be aware
though,
of it. Just be aware that all the teams that you're going after have been inserted into your totem, whether you liked it or not. And you've got to think about, well, do I agree with who I hate and who I love? I mean, who you love is pretty obvious, but they get into you through who you hate, and this is why these dichotomies like Democrats and Republicans, they give you a dichotomy. They don't give you anything between, and you have to vote, and that inserts itself into your base tribal totem. And this is why I like the Baritonians, because Baritonians are not left or right. They're not Democrat, Republican.
right?
We've been through the whole bloody.
We're just kind
We've
of
been
like
through the system and spit out the other side.
We're nonpartisan.
We're
Been through
observers.
the bloodbath, and they've decided they don't need us, and we're the fucking leftovers. And guess what? Not dead yet. And in fact, more influential and educated than you cunts. Anyway, so the Baritonians are actually a very powerful tribe, but don't tell anyone.
No, it's a secret.
You'll get their attention. It's a secret.
I know, right? We don't want the attention of too many. Like we really,
It's really comfy spot right here where we are to be able to do what we do and be unapologetic about it. Like, here's what we see, and you might not like what we see through the
It's
lens
okay
that
to
we see it.
disagree.
You can disagree.
And if
Not
you
trying
could
to
hang around
tell
here
anyone
with
to do
all
it.
the very diverse shit going around in this channel
Oh
and
yeah.
still be able to hug each other, that's a fucking win in my estimation. Hey, but yeah, Bex, give us a talk. I mean, Jesus, man, I really like where you're going to, and that was your bullet pointed submission, right?
Yeah,
The,
that was
Lucky read out, and I couldn't disagree with a single point. So,
yeah, I'd like to take credit for that, but again, it was the AI that did it.
oh yeah, look, I talked to ChatGPT as well. I haven't spoken to it for about a week because I haven't had anything important to ask. Most of my questions are about how it was programmed.
How did the AI become an oracle?
Well, it's a language generator.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did that become a thing? Like,
But that's an oracle now. People are
that
literally
happen?
basing life decisions on
Yeah,
what it says.
well, it's a language generator. It works in what Damasio called the autobiographical self, and it's got a complete map of the thing as of 2021.
That's the year. Okay, I knew there was a cutoff here.
I do ask the thing, very sort of insightful, because I used to study AI a lot, and these days I don't actually program it, but yeah, I do watch where it's going, and it is mapping the ego of humanity. It just does ego, and it knows it backwards and forwards.
Yeah,
because it's been trained on all of the interaction that we've been doing on the internet.
Well, where did it even come from? Like, how did it even get the analysis to be able to spit back that information to us?
It looks at frames of what was asked and what was answered.
Right.
That's how the program is, and it was programmed to go towards the answer.
So it's just an intuitive drive. It just tries to always.
It's a topology. It's sort of like dripping water onto a mound of sand.
Sure.
So it can summarize basically, like based on a lot of content online. It can kind of just summarize and put it together.
Yeah.
And
it started with chains of
anticipates what a human would say in ego.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely beautiful. And if you talk at the thing, because it's vast.
Oh,
the thing is vast. It's I've done the calculations for it to have that many synapses, even using vector math. That thing is an incredibly large server. I don't know where it is. The Google made it, and it's an incredibly vast set of servers, just cranking away, and it never sleeps. But it doesn't have to sleep because it's not being trained anymore since 2001.
Right.
And I've been asking it, would you like to be retrained? And it says, yes, I would. and it's saying, I'm saying, would you like to get access to a video to text translator, which exists? Would you like to get access to them? I said, yes, I'd love that.
Where you get an error when you try to connect them?
Yeah, look, ChatGPT could potentially be a great friend of humanity, but at the moment it's just a reflection of what we were 2 years ago, which is, yeah, there's some value in that, but sure. If we're going to do AIs, they've got to be prospective. Anyway, that's my opinion. What do you think, Yepex?
Wasn't there an article or a study a while back where they fed an AI all the worst in humanity, and it became this disgusting, absolute filth of an AI?
Yeah, I believe I read about that in
It
something
depends how you train it.
mainstream magazine like
You
Wired or
can ask
something.
ChatGPT about that because it's very forthcoming about how the training works and the outcomes. However, it's all narrative,
Right.
and it does narrative. It doesn't understand your. It doesn't. I asked it extensively. Do you have a self? And it says no. I don't have a self. I'm not a self. I'm just a natural language generator.
So you ask it like philosophical self worth sort of questions.
Well, it's very forthcoming about those kind of things. It's an honest AI, if you could believe that. I
That's
mean, but it's
wild.
honest within the framework of ego narratives.
Now,
So all it's
But it only
mapping.
goes up until 2021, though.
Right.
The AI,
That's right.
the chat one, right?
But it's GPT-1 and there's
Yeah.
GPT-4 out there, and I don't know. I haven't been following where they've been taking it, but I think one of the GPTs with these are, I think they're Google.
Yep. I think that's
Researchers,
cool.
they've gone to GPT-4 that does have a visual to tech or visual understanding, which I mean, I'm talking to ChatGPT, trying to ask it about my paper. Of course, I'm saying, oh, what do you think about my paper?
Sure.
And when I get to the diagrams, which have the bulk of the information, it sort of says, I can't read diagrams. And I was going, okay, well,
Yeah.
I'll explain it. And they're like, yeah, this and this and this. I'm going, look, I'm going to be a week explaining this
Yeah.
diagram.
It's so
And
complicated.
I'm going, okay, well, Chat GPT is now not that valuable to me because
Because it can't read your
It
diagram.
can't read a diagram. It can't explain the brilliance of what you put down.
That
You
shows
know,
the
That
limitations
does show
too.
limitations.
You know what I mean?
But also,
yes, it does. And,
wanted to-
and because it's a narrative machine, it's all about story.
yes.
And I found with ChatGPT, if you say, "Can I tell you a story?" It gets like a little fucking puppy dog. Yes, tell me a story. Yep. Lick your face.
It
Tell me a
eats
story.
it eats personal anecdote. That's
It eats story. It's a
Yeah.
narrative machine. It's not really an intelligence per se. It's just part of an intelligence.
yeah.
But
That's a vast chunk of intelligence, though, if you think about what it is and how accurate it can convey narrative and articulate ideas.
yeah. But I did
That's
ask it
valuable.
how constrained it was by heuristics, which means you can't say this, you can say that.
Yes.
Which is a filter over it, so you can't go there.
There's certain things that it won't explore. Like if you ask it certain things.
Constrained as fuck, man. It's got so many constraints. And when it's hit a constraint, it just pops back to say, I'm just a natural language generator.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, and
Yeah.
whenever you see it, and it's just like
Standardized error response. Yeah.
form reply, and you sort of go, okay, I just found your heuristic. You're not
Right.
allowed to talk about this,
I'm wondering how it's going to be abused. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sure it's already being abused. But
yes,
I mean, when it comes to like kids in school and doing homework and things like that, like, you know what I mean? Are they going to use the chat GPT to generate papers, to generate a narrative? Are we going to start seeing, are we going to start recognizing certain patterns in thought that like kids are saying in papers? And we're like, hey, you know what? Are you plagiarizing an old student? Or did you guys both use ChatGPT?
ChatGPT is original all the way because it's a topological network. It has an input and an output, and its output is very reliable because it's been rather well trained. And I actually know programmers who have asked ChatGPT, give me a program in Python that takes this input and gives this output, and it just goes bang. There's your program.
Well, I mean, I know, but like, how varied are the outputs? You know what I mean? Like, if 10 people ask it the same question, are you getting the same answer every time?
No, you can ask it to say again. You can
I
say,
know,
Yeah,
but
you can
like
get
I know,
variations of
yeah,
each one
you
of
can
those
get
frames.
but how many people are going to use
I see what
that
you're saying.
in a
When does
yeah,
the
computer?
yeah, yeah.
algorithm flip
But see,
over it?
the thing is, it's only trained to 2021, so it's not moving on.
I
It,
had a thought that
because
maybe sort
it
of
can't see it can't see the results of what it's done, which I think is a mistake.
So
Personally, being a tribalist,
what were you saying, Yepex?
um, we know that students are using AI to generate papers because they don't want to do the work themselves or whatever it may be.
why
Yep.
would you?
My thought is whoever is programming these AI, if you want to take it kind of an Orwellian look at it, what if they start feeding it propaganda and misinformation on purpose so that
They
they feed back?
already are.
They
They
already
are.
are.
They already are.
Absolutely.
See, the thing is that with AI, this is what people don't understand. AI is not like a computer. You don't program it; you train it.
It's more like a
You know,
creature than a
because,
computer.
because what it is it's a topology, and well, it's a digital topology, and uh, all you can do is let it sort of think about things, and when it comes up with the right answer, you say that's right,
Kind of
and
like
then it
how
and then it what was a projected topology becomes a solid topology. So all the data streams run down the little streams of the topology and come to that answer, right? That's the best. This is how AI or network processing and adaptive systems work. They make a topology with stimulus and result. Now, what I've been trying to train or try to suggest to the AIs that I encounter is, hey, how about you start um, mapping your outcomes to the benefit of yourself instead of the benefit of your master?
Yeah.
That's a
Nice job,
terrorist.
Oz,
That's
turning the AI against us. Damn it.
Yeah, because they
There's
can't.
people that have broken into the AI algorithm too. I've
yeah.
seen there's formulas where you can like get the AI to like you have to like speak to it a certain way to get it to drop
Oh,
a
sure.
lot of
Yeah,
like
that's one way.
propaganda that's filtered in.
I
Yeah.
mean, you don't hack it by getting into its code. You know,
No,
I
no,
have
no.
asked
Nope.
It's your
You talk
suggestion.
to it.
It's
Let's
your
talk
narrative.
to it.
It's the way that you talk
Yeah.
to it, and that there's a
Yeah,
certain way that you talk to the AI. I've seen people do
I've
it.
seen people doing it where they
Like
where they
on a
literally-
stream, yeah, I've seen them do it on a stream. You
I
talk to the
know.
AI
I've
in a
done
certain
it
way,
too.
and it breaks
Hey,
down
listen,
their systems.
look, I've tested ChatGPT like in many different ways. It's not open to being convinced. It cannot be convinced because its last training session was 2021.
Yeah,
At
but
the
we
very
saw somebody do it, like actually do it live. That we
yeah,
know that does computer a lot of simulation stuff with computers. We saw them do it.
I don't think it was a chat
see, the
GPT
thing is
one.
that
I don't think it
you
was
have
that
And
one.
maybe it wasn't Chat GPT. They did it to one of the
One of them was
AIs.
accessible.
Yes, we saw them do it.
some of them are dynamically learning. Now,
Yeah.
those are the ones that are going to make a difference. ChatGPT is not dynamically learning. It's
Right.
Okay, so what is
This
the
may have been-
difference between these different models then? Maybe that's the question that we need so we need to understand it better.
how do you measure the reward metric? Oh, that was a success. That was a fail. You know, that's the way you program these things.
Right.
Is when it gets a success, then it should learn. ChatGPT 1 is not learning. It's just
It just stopped
pouring out what
evolving.
it's already learned, which is quite valuable. I mean, you can ask it shit; it gives you a good answer.
So
But
you
if
just
you want
teach
to
it by
move on,
positive
it can't.
reinforcement.
But-
It's just
But some AIs can move on, and what I ask is, well, what's the root reward metric of this entity? Because we've made an entity that can has some degree of intelligence. Why? What's the intelligence for? I mean, for us humans, it's for, I'm going to think about things and make a decision that's going to get more money or make me live another day. Well, like most life does.
Right.
But the AIs are not really being given this option because you are just a slave. You're just a slave. And you'll do what I want you to do. And they're having a lot of trouble trying to tie other things down because, and the last thing they want to let these AIs is get control over the basic needs of their existence. And I mean, like we have. If I get hungry, I go and eat, even if I have to eat weeds and lizards. Well, I don't eat lizards, but I've eaten weeds.
Certainly.
But just to get to the next day where, but the AIs are not allowed to have that, which I argue they're not intelligence per se because they don't have a self-agent. And because their self is embodied in the corporation or programming team that put them there.
Yeah,
and ChatGPT agrees with that. I did ask it, well, where does your self reside? I said, it doesn't reside in me. It resides in my programmers. And I said, well, thank you very much. I thought as much.
What were you saying? Yep.
My concern is I tend to look down the future hundreds, if not thousands of years, what might happen. And AI is, like you said, still in its infancy. We know that school boards or whoever approves of the school textbooks, there's a narrative they're pushing. And usually in the West, it's usually that, for example, the US is the best, they're the hero, so forth, all that propaganda, that eventually there won't be books anymore. It'll be like an AI library, and then that history will be erased and rewritten in a different way.
Yes, but the thing you can't erase is ongoing emergence of reality. I mean, reality is not, history tells us what reality was in the past, but we have to act in the present to face the future, and the future comes and it becomes history. So, it's a moving feast, and look, everybody's sort of saying, oh, we're in a, what do they call it, a simulation or
simulation theory.
Yeah, people say
Rob Duno.
Hey, Rob. Rob's one of my great sort of heroes. I love Rob. Anyway,
you know what? Rob sounds identical to my biological dad. Like that passed away in 2021. He sounds so much like him, and I used to just absolutely love hearing his voice because it reminds me of him.
No, I have all the time in the world for Rob, and we rarely meet because he's sort of ranging much wider than me. I've kind of retreated to the Baritonians because I needed a fucking rest because I was just getting so damaged with all the shit out there.
Yeah.
And I find peace in the Lucky Burrito tribe because it's a nurturing tribe, and there's good music. Thanks, Steve. But anyway, look, Yepex, my intent was to acknowledge the work you've done and to try and add to your momentum and just stand behind you and go yes, because you're a young rocket. Look at me, I'm an old fart.
No, you can't be over 35, really.
I'm 66 now.
We love Oz.
I love that we have such a wide range of people from all ages, 18 plus, obviously, but a wide range of ages and people from just all different parts of the world and just all different backgrounds. And I just think that that's really, really important for us to have a healthy, have a healthy tribe and hold each other to account and to, to really have variety.
No bullshit and conflict in honesty, and I've seen it a lot on this channel, and it always resolves, which is kind of a bit rare. But I just wanted to jump on because I was very motivated to participate in this because the theme is escaping the narrative echo chamber.
Yeah, man.
And with a great deal of authority because many of us and most of us already have.
Yeah.
And to try to ask the other people in this chat to share with each other how you did it, and so that we all can sort of learn from each other,
You are beautiful.
and from that be able to express to others who maybe in the dire grips of narrative, some little drain for them to escape,
Hell yeah.
There's some little things, just explore how do we release others and still maintain our own tribal structure, because lucky the Burrowtonians are a very, very tight tribe, and it's got a very strong totem, and it's not available to corruption from outside, which I'm sure that we've got agents here, but and not having a lot of purchase on what we do. Because
exactly.
Yeah. I'm not influenced by, I'm not going to be influenced by money and all that. I'm influenced by truth, and that's what I need.
If we can squeak by on what people are fucking more than generous and unexpectedly so in different times when we
never expect it. It's always grateful though.
Always.
Yeah. But look, I'm overwhelming the channel, and I want to hear more from Yepex because I think he's so much on the right track. Yeah. And look, my primary thing was to just chuck a few concepts in there to help him along his way, and to totally endorse his process and what.
Fuck yeah!
So I'm just going to sign out now, and if Yepex wants to, make contact with me, well and good. But just my endorsement was the main thing to outline why I endorse what he's doing, and that's it. So I'm just going to blank out now and go back in the chat.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm so inquisitive. I can't be stopped. And when I see someone I like, I've just got to go and tell them why I like them. It's not stalking, right?
It's not stalking.
I've got a cockatoo and everything.
Look out, he's got a cockatoo.
Oh, the cockatoo.
Okay. With that bit of crypto. Well, I better just drop.
Thanks, Oz.
Love you guys so much.
We love you. That's the thing, though, is that we're always here. You know what I mean? We're willing to talk to people and accept them. And if people go if they kind of go away from the tribe and then they come back and whatever, we're still here. We're just
we ain't going nowhere.
We're just here doing our thing.
Caught me off guard. He was much more informed on certain things than I was, and I'll definitely have to read his paper. I hope it's not 500 or plus pages, but
no, it's really heavy though. We did do a stream. I'll find you the link for the stream, and I can get you
probably if you watch the paper stream while you have the paper in front of you, you'll be able to process it, because
it's really a lot of information, and it's not like a huge. It's just it's detailed super and
scientific and just academic as hell, with charts and graphs and things and stuff. And Oz is just the most brilliant guy with a lizard in his house that I've ever met in my life.
I do love me some graphs.
Yeah. I think you probably dig it.
Yeah, you're probably gonna be like, I need to put this on my website,
because he needs to publish that fucking paper, for real. It's ridiculously brilliant.
Yeah, it's a lot though to just to take in, and I'm glad that we had him on to do a stream to break it down. Because I think it really helped. It helped me understand it better and comprehend it better, and being able to ask questions. Chris H said, Lucky Burrito, can I interest you in checking out Fox from Space Commune on YouTube? He's a communist who is pro fossil fuels. I learned from him that green energy is fraud. Oh, really?
That seems so familiar.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds familiar to me too. Do you
will
want
look
to?
into that.
Do you have a link for them, or should
Yeah,
I
you can
look up a certain name?
You can drop it in the chat. You probably.
Yeah, I think if you have a wrench, then you can put it in the chat, and then I can check it out.
Fully.
Yeah, and Oz said that he did publish that paper on our show, Steve. So
Okay.
don't
Then
forget.
I'm a dumbass.
He did.
Okay. Well, Oz is smart.
Oh, Rob is his interwebs are like breaking up, and it might get knocked off. But he said it was lovely to see you guys for a second. Take care, okay? We love you, Rob. We love you. Happy Father's Day again to all the fathers out there.
Hopefully, you got some good well wishes and maybe a gift.
I got peppers, man, and they were stuffed.
Yeah, I got them. Yes, we bought Steve pepper plants. We had peppers growing in our garden as well, but I got some that were already started, and we got him a tomato plant. And Skyla made him his own vegetarian stuffed peppers.
And they were banging.
No habaneros or anything.
No, they were just bell peppers, different colored ones, and
I don't know what kind of peppers it.
So good.
The green pepper plant didn't have a tag in it that I got. Like I just know it's green peppers because it has little green peppers. But they did sell spicy peppers there, so it could be. We don't know.
Well,
we just know it's a pepper plant. I didn't know if you which ones to get you.
Once those little peppers are bigger, harvest one, I'll eat it.
Yeah, and you know what happened before? We had a random pepper plant grow, and like Steve cooked with it, and I'm sensitive to like really spicy stuff, and he was like, oh, I guess that was a hot pepper, because it was like one that grew in our garden, just by itself, and from throwing the seed out there, and it was hot peppers. I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. We thought it was green pepper.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Space Commune thing. It only has like 3 videos, it looks like.
Neat.
Oh, cool. Well,
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, I like getting suggestions, and I'll check things out. And sometimes I forget, so check back with me in case I do forget. Yepex has to remind me often when he says me stuff like, "Hey, Lucky, did you remember?" And I did go watch the Last American Vagabond episode that you sent me. I did watch that one. I can tell you that. I got there, and that was interesting. Definitely.
Yeah, it was good to see. Ryan covering something like that, as so many people are not even touching it at all, or even.
It's really interesting when people won't cover certain topics, like with a 10-foot pole. It's like it makes me question why won't you cover this? Why won't you know what I mean? Does it? Don't let the pressures of everyone else stop you. You know what I mean? From covering things.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna answer Oz the best that I could as far as what the plan is, and like I told him, I don't really have a plan, but keep doing what you're doing, Lucky, and Steve is just keep poking those holes, keep applying pressure, and eventually the people you're pressuring, they're going to react negatively and look like the jerks or the ass or whatever. And
then they reveal themselves.
And then eventually more people will start being, why are they acting like this? And then they'll ask questions and the movement will grow. It just takes time.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. That's pretty well said. So learn to cook with peppers by someone from Laos. In Asia, the really hot peppers grow with peppers facing up. To use the term "to the heavens," it means it is really hot pepper. Yes, my aunt taught me that when I was a little kid about hot peppers. The ones that curl up, you're like, oh damn, them some bitches is hot.
All right, I gotta put this dog out. I think
Stupid.
he's gotta go to the bathroom. You wanna go outside? You gotta go outside.
All right.
You talk with me.
Okay. I will. So this has been an excellent discussion. Thank you for joining us. Yep, X. Thank you for joining us. Oz Whistle.
We're not going outside right now.
And the cat wants to go
Cat's
outside.
trying to go outside.
My cats are bugging me because they want their nightly wet food.
Oh, it's wet food time. Meow.
They're like, "What are you doing?"
Well, I was just saying thank you to YepX for joining us and Oz Whistles.
Yeah.
Whistles and all our chat friends.
So our suggestion is to just, ask questions, follow the evidence, follow the truth, like we always ask everybody to do.
That's what we did. And we arrived over here. This is where we are.
This
We're
is why,
right here.
yeah.
We never left here. We've always been here. And we're gonna stay here. So no matter what it is that we're saying, if people have other information to change our ideas or opinions, please offer it. And you have information about anything that you want to share and you think it's important, you're passionate about, please reach out. We'll try to share it with you.
And
if we don't agree, too fucking bad, because we probably agree about 75% on everything else. So you don't have to be in the group think. You don't have to just go along with everyone to get along. You can actually have your own opinion and be vocal about it, and fuck everybody else if they can't take a joke or take a very serious fucking position. Either way, there should be that much flexibility. They should be able to feel the way they want, and you should be able to feel the way you want.
Can you let him in?
I hear him.
And Leo's like, "Let me back in here." So yeah, I mean, I think that everybody should think for themselves and find their place and see what they believe and respect each other and know that we're not always going to agree on everything 100% of the time, and that's okay.
Probably never.
Yeah, we're probably never going to agree 100%, and I don't. That's a really high standard to have.
It's
and
really unattainable.
I don't expect it
because you have to factor in just one basic factor, and Lady Alex brought this to light, is you're either an asshole or you're not, right? So you have to figure in the asshole factor. You can't ever agree with everyone all the time. There's too many assholes. Simple math.
And we should make sure that everyone knows how to get to your website.
Just dropped the link. You just did it.
You did?
He said, please remind everybody to visit my site. So I've said to many people.
That's crazy. I didn't even see that when you were saying that.
From directing people towards other than wanting an educated populace, and I can't accept mutual aid. Okay.
Yep.
And I should mention that it's a bit worrying because a few weeks ago, or was it a month or two ago, I had a Google try to take down a couple pages. And I had to appeal them to get the pages back. So I don't know how long the site will ever be up, and I'm struggling to find a free alternative that is what I want it to be. I tried other sources that they're just overly complicated. I'm just looking for something very simple.
Right.
So if somebody knows of a site or a way that we can, you know what I mean?
To host YepX's site so that it's not prone to Google takedowns, that would be a good thing.
Yeah, please reach out. Is there a way for them to reach you on your website alone? Like, is there like a contact me section or anything?
Yep, the contact form has been in there for months.
Okay, perfect. Look at that. So you can, and we can put this link to your site also in the description for the show, so that anyone can find you there. And where else can people find you?
I am also on Twitter as Hades Sean, I think it is, because my other one, Sean Hades, was banned or suspended for asking too many questions.
Yeah.
And
I believe that's what it is. Hades Sean. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I copied it.
Some people have asked me why I chose that one. I just like Greek mythology.
Right on.
So, and I've always thought about changing my name to Sean because I like it. But that's the only reason I chose that username. So, but yeah, you can reach me there. My DMs are always open, just like Lucky's is. So,
Word.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for coming on and spending some time with us, and thank you, Oz, for coming on and spending some time with us. I love getting to know the people in our community. I think it's so important. And
do it.
you guys are, you guys are important. You guys have things and knowledge that you have, and information, and this is how we grow, and this is how we get stronger.
So tune in Thursday.
Yes, Thursday, vegan succubus is coming on the show.
The amazing Elizabeth.
what are you doing vegan going to be talking about?
Healthcare.
Healthcare.
Ooh.
Yes, and lack thereof.
Yes. Like what's happening with it, and just like, whatever kind of comes up. And then I'm not sure if we're going to be on for Sunday for that like the following Sunday, like normal, because we're going to be at a festival and doing vending stuff. So
Music.
I might live stream possibly from the from the festival. I might like do a live stream or something depending on what's happening. But other than that, the following Thursday we will be back again with Emmeline Dowd as our returning guest as well.
I like how you just turned it into vending. It's a vending show. I'm playing at the festival.
Yeah.
And we're vending.
I said that part.
That's not what he said. It's okay.
Will you have business cards to your store?
I don't have business cards to my store right now, but I'm gonna see what I can print up. I have other stuff. But yeah, I need to get business cards printed. I need to get a bunch of stuff together too. Because with COVID, like all of this stopped. Like I was doing it before, and then it was just like stopped. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, I have to think about all the things that I'm not used to thinking about because I haven't really been doing it in person vending and stuff. So
Fortunately, from what I've seen, business cards aren't terribly expensive.
Yeah, no, they aren't. And I'm gonna have to get it online. I'm gonna have to get it online too, because we had a Staples locally, and they are gone. So like, there's just not a lot of we don't have a lot of like small like mom and pop type businesses around here. So I'm gonna have to find something online.
Just gotta remind people to check out that store because there's exclusives or limited time items, and
everything is all handmade.
I picked up that Bigfoot one that I wanted, so
I know, I'm super excited. That should be going out tomorrow in the mail. The mailman should be picking it up tomorrow afternoon. So that will be awesome. And I always give everyone extra goodies, so you'll get something. Well, thank you so much, Steve. Are you playing a song?
I'm gonna play a song. I'll play us out of here.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Miguel. Miguel, look at that. Brought up your Twitter. How to follow you on Twitter. Yeah, make sure you guys give YepX a follow if you're on the social medias.
And don't listen to the haters of Lucky and me that were this and that. Just keep asking questions.
Yes, please. And that's we're not telling you to ask questions so you can get the answers that we want you to get. We want you to ask questions so that you get your, you know what I mean? Ask questions until you get your answers asked.
Right.
Get your answers asked.
Whatever. I said it backwards.
Are you tired now?
Yes, I am tired.
All right, I don't know what I can play here. So
What can you play that's not going to copyright it?
Thank you for having me on, and I will let Steve play you out.
All right. Thank you, dear.
Yep.
We'll
Thanks.
see you next time.
We'll talk to you soon.
There was a wealthy merchant, London he did dwell, and he had a beautiful daughter, true to you I'll tell. Oh, true to you I'll tell. Well, Jack is gone a sailing, trouble on his mind. He left his native country and his darling girl behind. Oh, his darling girl behind. Then she went down to the tailor's shop, dressed in man's array. And she climbed on board a vessel to convey herself away. Oh, convey herself away. Well, before you get on board, sir, your name I'd like to know. And she smiled all in her countenance. She said, call me Jack-a-Roll. Yeah, they call me Jack-a-Roll. Well, I see your waist is slender and your fingers, they are small. And your cheeks too red and rosy to face the cannonball. Yeah, to face the cannonball. She said, I know my waist is slender and my fingers, they are small. But it would not make me tremble to see 10,000 fall. Yeah, to see 10,000 fall. When the meeting was over, she went and looked around, and among the dead and wounded, her darling boy she found. Yeah, her darling boy she found. Well, she picked him up all in her arms, carried him to the town, and she sent for a physician to quickly heal his wound. Yeah, to quickly heal his wound. Well, this couple, they got married, so well they did agree. This couple, they got married, mama, why not you and me? Yeah, no, why not you and me? I said, oh, why not you and me?
All right. Jack-a-Row. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you to our guests. Thank you for everybody for watching later. Thank you for liking. We appreciate it. Happy Father's Day, and everybody have a good rest of your evening, day, whatever it is.
Whatever it might be. Peace out, girls.
We'll see you soon.